Hi, hello, welcome. It has it's been a while, hasn't it?
Oh God, I'm scared.
Why?
We're here. We're here again. And
We
oh God, I'm sorry. I looked over at the stream and I just see the power bottom just appear.
the amazing power bottom drawn by Pookie.
It just
Fresh
fucking
victims for the
appears.
ever-growing army of the undead.
Hello, Pale Bunny, thank you so much for that. We'll try to make sure that I stream more often for that. So yes, I had notes and then I just went completely blank.
Man,
Um,
it's like it's like just like Janelle, like
Never prepared, ever.
embody her.
Embody Janelle. Just let me infuse my blood with caffeine and
Yeah,
technical difficulties and we will roll with it.
I mean, I think that's how she lives it on a daily basis. Yeah.
Whatever gets you through day to day, right?
I like how we're
Um,
just throwing shade on her. She's not even
I'm just waiting for her to pop up in chat.
here.
She'll like come with the passive aggressive smiley face and just be like, "Don't worry, guys. Next campaign, right?" It's like, got you, got you. Um, Let me know how the audio quality is because I'm not too sure. I did a kind of test of it, but I have mine and Brad's audio kicked up as high as it could be, but it sounded a little quieter on a test recording. So obviously, let me know about the sound levels from a viewer point. Um so yes, we are here tonight with something special that I literally powered through January and February to write. Um,
Yes.
it came to me out of nowhere, but I figured it was very appropriate, and Brad helped me with a lot of Willy lines. I had to collaborate a lot with this because uh characters that tend to stutter a lot like Willy does are very difficult for me to write. So this was something that I had to constantly be like, Brad, help me. Brad, help. But
And they're oh, sorry, go ahead.
also there are a lot of great jokes in here that just kind of spun off because a lot of times throughout the day I will just bullshit around and we'll just send each other like really dumb fucking audios. So I tried to incorporate a lot of that uh into this.
Yeah, I mean, there's I think there's a few of them that you had where it was almost like word for word, like audios I sent you,
Yes.
and you're like, "Let me just transcribe these and done. That's it."
Yeah, I'm just like, oh no, I'm putting this in here absolutely hands down. I had to listen to some of the audios, like some of the audios were like two 2 minutes because it was like two separate 1 minute ones or some shit, and I was like listening to them like 20 times just to get it down to the exact. I'm like, nope, this is going in there. So
No, I mean, like, and the way that Alex says that, like, I helped him a lot. Duh, he's shortchanging himself on that one. He did an excellent job with everything, and a lot of it was just like him being like, Will he say this?" And I'm like, "No, he'd say this," and then that was my input. So,
well, yeah, but a lot of times you're like, nah, he'd say it like this, and then he would just give me like a complete audio, and I'm like, yes, yes, no, this is good. This is very good.
this is material. I need this.
I am a writer. Anything you say, I can and will use against you.
Ain't that the damn truth? Here we go.
It is the truth. Hence this project that came about. But my goal was originally, I wanted to read this last month. I wanted to get it done by the 14th and have it read. Unfortunately, that didn't happen because February was just an entire shit show for everyone. I am quite honestly surprised we were able to get Can't Believe's Q&A busted out.
And that, surprisingly too. Like, I mean, I can't say surprisingly, but it really did end up. going really well. I had a really good time with it, and I really thought that like a lot of the questions were fun, and I was really happy to see that there was actually a lot of people that participated in it. So once again, thanks for everybody that came to that.
Yeah, the Q&A was so much fucking fun. Of which, by the way, too, um, we're still deciding on a date, but it's either going to be the 21st or the 28th. Will be when the next live episode of Can't Believe will be. We're still trying to finalize some things, but just stay posted to our social media pages. We have an Instagram now at Haphazard Rolls. And then obviously our Twitter. If you're not in Nell's Discord, that is another place where you can find our announcements at as well. Um, but let us get prepared, get cozy, get our drinks and warm blankies,
Oh God,
little
yeah.
snacks, and we're gonna we're gonna jump into a very special piece for the Can't Believe fans.
Oh no, here we go.
Yep, I'm gonna start this one off hard, Brad. I hope you're ready.
Believe me, man, I am not, but that's
Boo-lieve.
okay. Believe me.
Believe me.
I hate it. I hate it already. I hate it.
Uh,
Oh God. All right, man. Whenever you're ready.
all right, here we go. Abel let out a soft grunt, pulling the blankets closer to himself as he curled up tighter into his bed. The cold February days felt worse in their apartment the longer it took for the transition into spring, their thermostat struggling to keep up on those days when temperatures fell well below freezing. On days like these, it was even a struggle to get up and get moving, the reason to leave unable to outweigh the warmth his bed offered. Since becoming a vampire, the struggle had become that much more difficult for him, given he could no longer consume that caffeinated beverage he loved oh so dearly. Despite all that, his roommate Steve still put on a pot every morning before he left for class, a kind gesture that the dark-haired man appreciated more than he let on, and one that also helped make him feel just a little bit more human. The lingering aroma drifted his way as the sound of their dorm's door shutting forced his weary eyes open, making him instinctively snatch. Sorry, what the fuck is going on in chat?
I was attempting to type in there.
Thank you.
There are bids.
Thank you.
It's okay.
I love and appreciate you. The lingering aroma drifted his way as the sound of the dorm's door shutting forced his weary eyes open, making him instinctively snatch his phone from the nearby nightstand and pull it under the mountain of blankets to check the time. There was something important going on today. He knew, but was it really worth getting out of bed for? He could just as easily cancel everything, he thought to himself. It was just a little after 9 a.m. It wouldn't be hard to do either, his thoughts continued, allowing him to stay in bed all day and enjoy the rest he rarely allowed for himself. But as his phone vibrated, signaling a text had come in and his emerald eyes fell on who its sender was, he then pondered if it was really worth doing. After all, Abel had also been looking forward to today specifically. Today was special. He forced out a sigh, followed by a groan as he reluctantly peeled the sheets down and threw himself out of bed. The chilled apartment made him already regret today's decision as he wandered over to his wardrobe to grab some clothes for the day's outing. After a quick shower drawn hot as possible, he dressed himself in a maroon long-sleeve sweater, dark denim jeans, and slipped on a pair of black suede shoes. Only after did he apply some cologne, the soft smell of roses filling the bathroom as he stepped out and headed towards the kitchen, where he then poured himself a cup of coffee. Steve must have brewed hazelnut, he thought to himself, taking in a deep whiff. A favorite the both of them shared. His eyes fell down on the cup, watching the steam dance off the surface. It went without saying that he really missed his morning routines, and he was sure Steve knew this, or else he wouldn't bother brewing a pot every time, just to dump it out once it grew cold. But what Abel really missed the most was being able to sit down and actually enjoy the coffee that his roommate made. And Well, the breakfast adventures weren't so bad either. The life of a vampire was still cursed, he would tell you without hesitation. Nothing good had come from it. Not even all the things that had happened back at the camp. A thought that made him force out yet another sigh, this one deeper than the last. Having been seated for what felt like no more than a few minutes, the doorbell chimed, pulling him from both brooding thoughts and the daily news on the tablet he held in hand. He glanced to the clock on the oven's face before standing up and making way towards the door, opening it to see Willy standing there. His friend looked cold as ever, having bundled himself up in a thick black bubble jacket, a scarf decorated in various video game controllers, and a matching knitted cap topped with a pom-pom. Willy?
Morning, Abe.
He replied with a shiver.
You ready?
Ready? Abel questioned. Willy raised a brow.
Yeah, you, said 11, right?
The man blinked again. Is it already 11?
Uh, yeah,
Pulling out his cell phone, Willy showed him the time.
check it out.
Ah, did I really zone out that long? He furrowed his brows in his own frustration. Well, whatever, I was just about ready anyway. Come in and we can leave here in the next few minutes. You look as if you need to thaw out a bit first anyway.
Yeah, I felt like a Snickers ice cream bar out there. It was really cold walking over. It's like when you work in the freezers or stores, they're just really cold, and um, sometimes people like shut the lights off while you're in there and stuff, and you can't find your way out, and it's kind of like when you get lost if you were out venturing the Arctic, but without the penguins. But like, I mean, unless you just like to wake up like a penguin exhibit at the zoo or something, in which case that's cool too.
Willie stepped in, taking a second to absorb Abel's apartment before looking back at him.
What what were you doing this whole time anyway? I sent you a text.
Ugh.
Did you not get it?
Abel looked at his idle cup of coffee at the island before looking to Willie. No, I got it. I must have zoned out or something. I'm sorry. He drew up a hand, placing it against his forehead.
Is that all? Or did you fall back asleep? Were you up all night playing games?
He laughed, giving the dark-haired man a nudge with his elbow.
Eh? Eh?
Like you're one to lecture me about doing something like that, Abel snorted beneath his breath, forcing back a smile that so dearly fought to come out. But, to answer your question, no. I saw your text and began getting ready for our outing.
Huh. Hey, no offense, Abe, but it kind of smells like old people in here. Are you living like with an old person?
Willie looked around again before walking towards the couch, flopping down on it before immediately catching sight of the gaming consoles directly across from him. His eyes went wide with sparkly delight, slowly reaching towards one of the Switch Joy-Cons before flinching as his friend let out a low growl in warning. Old people?
Yeah, like those really sweet old ones that invite you in for like milk and cookies and stuff. Like the grandparents of your BFFs or something. You know what I'm talking about? The ones who like force food onto you at cookouts and stuff, making sure you're like, like eating enough. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like the really nice ones that are kind of like extended family and stuff.
Oh, Abel sneered. It's called cologne, you... You know what? I'm going to let that slide. He crossed his arms, turning his nose the other way. And it's not Old people scented, Williard, is called roses. Milk and cookies, he says.
Hey, Abe.
What? The man snorted.
While you finish getting ready and stuff, can I play with the Switch?
Abel raised a brow before dismissively waving a hand the second he caught sight of Willy giving a pleading look. I don't care. Do whatever makes you happy. Willy let out a soft gasp, picking up the set of Joy-Cons, a smile wide on his face.
Great. Take your time then, man. I'll be right here.
He let out a soft gasp.
Dude, Squid Path.
Letting out a brief exhale, Abel strolled into the kitchenette. Honestly, some things never change, he muttered, taking hold of the coffee pot before pulling the contents down the drain. Stealing a glance at Willy, he leaned into the cabinet with his hip, smiling to himself. Just seeing him sitting there on the couch fixated on the Switch was enough to satisfy him. If he could have had it any other way, he wouldn't have minded just sitting out on the couch next to him, watching him play through whatever games were on the console. The thought alone was relaxing enough. But they did have plans, and he didn't want to hold them up any longer than need be. Just as Abel had said, it took but a few minutes before he was finished getting ready, wearing a dark wool coat, black fitted gloves, and a gray knitted scarf, as they left the apartment behind to venture out into the city.
The busy streets of the university pulled them in, ushering them towards the city not long after. Though silence occupied their time for the most of it, Willie took notice at some point or another that his friend had been holding onto a piece of paper, looking to it now and again. He could only assume that, given how Abel was, he had probably wrote out a list of places he intended to visit on their excursion around town. Unless maybe it was a grocery list. Was he out of dog food or something? The curiosity that built up only prompted him to ask. Hey, that list you got there, Abe, is there like a place you want to check out first? The man gave a small nod before looking up and around, his eyes combing the various businesses that dotted either side of the street.
Yeah. I was thinking you probably left in a rush without eating this morning, so I planned for us to stop by a local cafe to get you some lunch.
A big grin crossed Willie's face. That's really nice of you, Abe. But do they serve vegan food there? Abel raised a brow, giving a slight tilt of his head.
Yes, it's a chick cafe. Why wouldn't they?
Oh, okay, awesome. I'm down to check it out then.
Why do you ask? Wait, are you now vegan? No. No, there's no possible way. You're bullshitting me, aren't you, you bastard?
Willie stopped to look at Abe. I'm not. No, I just don't really eat much, and I mean, like, if they have vegan options there, then that means you can have something to eat too, right? I'm sure they don't have those Capri Suns you like, and probably don't have like dog biscuits and stuff either. Because, like, why would a restaurant have dog biscuits, right? But I could be wrong. I've never been to a lot of those fancy places you go to, and like, um, do they at least have like doggy bags there or something?
Uh,
April?
are you there, Brad?
Yeah. What? There's your. Did you see your part? I didn't hear it. If you did,
Yeah, sorry.
yeah.
Uh,
All right. Abel scratched the back of his head, averting his gaze. All this time, and Willie still hadn't realized he was a vampire. It seemed. I couldn't help but look over at the chat. uh, poor Willie. He forced a sigh before pressing forward.
I already ate, so don't worry about me. I assure you I'm perfectly fine, but I don't need you to be forcing through today on an empty stomach. Plus, it's my treat, so don't worry about it, okay? I want to take you here.
He stopped and looked back.
You coming?
Taking notice that his friend had been waiting for him, Willie stumbled forward into a sprint before catching up. Uh, right.
When the cafe came into view, the two of them slipped in and selected a table closest to the doors. Both were thankful that the heat had been kicked up full blast, allowing them to undress from their winter coats without feeling uncomfortable about the chill that lingered not far from them. It hadn't taken but a few minutes before a waitress approached and took their orders that Abel then looked over to Willie. Now that he could have a good look at him, he noticed his friend had changed a little in the last few months that passed after camp had ended. His once bleached hair had grown out a little, needing the roots touched up, a thought that made the corner of his lips curl into a small smile, watching as he put on a black hairband to keep his hair from falling in his face. His hands, once covered by fingerless gloves with the caps at the end, had now revealed he had taken on a collection of various silver trinkets. Or perhaps he had always held this unique sense of fashion, Abel thought to himself in counter. Something like that wouldn't have casually come up in conversation at camp, so it was quite possible that Willie had always worn them. His orb scanned over the bright yellow person 5 shirt he wore,
Yes,
and
get it right.
and underneath a long sleeve black shirt that had been rolled up to show off his array of wristbands. A soft hum then fled from Abel's lips as his gaze then fell on a golden locket worn round Willie's neck. Had that always been there as well? Or was this something that his friend had kept hidden during their summer job? Was it a gift from a special someone, he wondered? Or maybe it held a picture of someone he held a fond memory of. Though curiosity loomed in his eyes, Abel refrained himself from asking, instead looking to his friend through his black mane and taking time of his own to tuck a stray strand of his hair behind an ear. The punk look Willie sported definitely suited him more than a silly shirt that read Camp Counselor.
It's pretty cold today. I'm really glad it's warm in here.
Willie finally spoke, taking notice to his friend staring. Yeah, me too, Abel said with a smile, thanking the waitress who returned with their piping hot beverages. A caramel macchiato for Willie, and a simple dark roasted coffee for Abe himself.
Are you gonna drink that?
Willie asked, taking hold of the large porcelain cup before him. The dark-haired man raised a brow, gesturing at the cup of coffee he now held. What, this?
Yeah.
No, Abel admitted without hesitation.
Um, um, why would you order that? Do you, not like it? That's kind of wasteful, Abe. Why wouldn't you just get something you like?
I can't have coffee, Willie. I just like the smell of it. Trust me, if I could drink this caffeinated nectar again, I would be infinitely happier. Willie looked around before leaning in to whisper discreetly.
Is is it because dogs can't have coffee? Why? Well, didn't you just like get water or something, Abe? It's free, isn't it?
Abel sneered. I'm not a dog, and no, that's not the reason why. Anyway, let's change topic here. I don't care about what I've been doing since camp ended, but what I want to know is what have you been doing, Willie?
uh, well,
He scratched the back of his head, taking a moment before answering.
nothing that I wasn't already doing before. Just kind of back to being a regular guy, you know? It's um, it's been hard to adjust.
Bringing the cough of cuppy up to his nose. Abel gently inhaled the fragrant aroma before looking back to Willie, noticing a small frown dressing his face as he fidgeted with one of the silver rings on his fingers. It was apparent this wasn't a pleasant topic of conversation for him. How so? He continued, pushing forward with his questions. Don't you think it to be wonderful, not having to fight to live each day, waking each dawn anew without some shrill voice piercing your ears? Is it not wonderful knowing the worst of the matter in some mundane life is getting hit by a car or something, and instead of fighting for your life against some towering monstrosity that only exists in movies? Personally, I'm relieved.
Uh, I mean, sure, it's it's great for you, Abe. But camp kind of gave me a sense of purpose. I actually felt like I was someone there. I felt like I could protect those I wanted to, even even if I was just a normal compared to you and Rose. At least it was easier to deal with.
Abel set the cup of coffee down before him, giving Willie his undivided attention. Are you still hung up on figuring out where your life is taking you? Or are these lingering thoughts of an old man with an outdated mindset trying to mold you into a place where you clearly don't belong? Willie let out a nervous laugh, quick to look away.
uh, probably, probably the second one.
Then why haven't you moved into my apartment yet? Abel snorted, resting a cheek against his knuckle and passing a soft smile. I told you that you could, didn't I? What's stopping you?
It, yeah, but I don't want to intrude in on you and your grandma.
Abel's brow twitched. I'm not living with a grandma or with an old person for that matter. He straightened up his back before letting out a sigh of his own. But I do suppose I need to run this by my roommate anyway. I'll take full responsibility for this, given I'm the one encouraging and pressuring you into this change. I think that it might be for the better, and then that way he can help us with moving you out, should you trust me enough to take this leap.
Ah, you don't have to, Abe.
Willie said, forcing a smile.
I'll I'll be fine. I guess just kind of down, and because I still, miss everyone. The last thing I want is to become a burden on you.
Bold of you to lie to my face while I have a cup of coffee in front of me, Williard.
You mean the one you're not drinking?
Yes, the one I'm clearly not drinking. Abel stared back at him, taking hold of his rough hands and lacing his fingers in between Willie's. Look, you're obviously not fine, so just take my offer for now. Also, you wouldn't be a burden to me, so throw that thought out the fucking window. If after being there for a while, you don't feel like it'll work out, then hey, at least you gave it that, He furrowed his brows, visibly becoming frustrated as he tried to look for a particular phrase. That, uh, college try, or whatever it is they say now. Abel then shook his head. Anyway, point in case, you can say you've at least tried to do something, and if things don't work out the way you want them to, then that's perfectly okay. It's not the end of the world, Willie. Regardless of what you choose to do, you're always going to have me there. Abel gave his hands a squeeze. Camp counselor, monster slaying all star position or not, no amount of time is going to change the fact that I'll be there for you, Willie. Just like you say you're there for me. As Willie drew a breath in to say something, the both of them saw the waitress approaching with food, Abel quick to draw his hands back. They flashed the waitress a smile before looking to one another.
uh, Thanks, Abe. But are you sure you don't want anything?
You mean like money? Willie pointed at the sandwich he had ordered. Oh, no, I'm fine.
And not even a bite. Not even a like half of it.
You just worry about yourself for the moment. Once you've taken your fill, we'll head over to the mall and distract ourselves with the lighter atmosphere. Does that sound better? Taking hold of the sandwich, Willie began. Willie bit down into it, taking a large chunk and chewing.
Yeah. I I like feel bad eating in front of you. You're not getting anything.
You knew I was like this at camp, so your worry's misplaced. Abel folded his hands in front of him, watching Willy's lips smack with the poorest manners possible. Funny how, despite the subtle differences in Willy's appearance, some things with him never changed. As he went to bring the cup of coffee up for another whiff, a splurt of mayo came flying, smacking him in the face and sliding down the bridge of his nose before falling into his caffeinated beverage. Exasperated sigh followed before he looked to Willy, far from being amused.
You got like white stuff all over your face, Abe.
Willy noted between chewing, sliding a napkin to him.
You might want to like wipe that off or something. Looks kind of funny.
Thank you for that declaration, Einstein. Please don't ever change. Confusion dotted Willy's amber eyes, watching as Abel wiped his face clean. Also, please don't talk while you have food in your mouth. That's a choking hazard, Williard. Chew first, swallow, and then you can speak.
You don't have to worry about me, Abe. I, I do this all the time.
Abel's brow twitched as Willy took another bite into his sandwich, a large blob of mayo falling down into his crotch in retaliation. I know you do. I'm just letting you know that if you choke, I have no intentions of saving you.
Ah, jeez. Hey, Abe, can you hand me that napkin there? I got white stuff all over my crotch now. Ah, shit. These are my good jeans.
Willy, the dark-haired man exhaled, placing his head in his hands. Can you please be more discreet when you offhandedly say things like these in a public setting? Please. He looked back up to his friend in between cleaning up the mayo he had got on himself before replying back.
Say things like what? They see something weird?
Never mind.
Hey, I've been meaning to, like, ask you this since we got here, but, like, do they, like, allow dogs to sit at the table?
For the love of... Willy, I'm not a dog. I'm a... Willy let out a soft laugh.
Sure thing, Abe. Whatever you say. I got you. Hey, so know how we were like talking about you being cousins or like second cousins with the dog man and stuff?
Abel stared across the table at his friend, bewildered and already mentally bracing for where this conversation was heading. We've literally never talked about this, but do go on with the change of topic,
Fresh
Williard.
victims for the ever-growing army of the undead.
Did my... Oh, there. Nope, there's my audio. Go ahead, Brad. Did my audio die? Brad, are you there? Brad. Oh god, I lost him! I lost Brad, oh no! Uh... Did someone murder Brad? Oh no. Oh no! Uh... Well... While I wait for Brad to come back or tell me he's not dead, to answer your question, Juniper, I wrote this with the intention of it being canon, but ultimately that's going to be for Nell to decide at the very end. He did die. He did die. I may have to re-invite him back into call. Let's see here. He blue screened, so uh give us a second here. In chat for Brad. Yeah, no, it's a the old oh my god. Uh but I will probably just restart reading some of it soon. Joey killed Brad. That, it happens. It's fine. Thank you for the follow, Joey. We'll wait for this to pop back up. So did y'all have any questions so far while I wait for Willy to realive himself? Just as it was getting to the good part, his computer would die. This is too funny. Well, I want to read ahead, but it's just not funny if it's not Brad reading Willy's part. I'm sorry. It really is on brand for him. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could just slap up the BRB screen, but why not just stay here and make everything better for everyone? I hope his computer actually just didn't die because that would fucking suck. So anyways, how's y'all's weekend going? While I stall for time, awkwardly sipping tea. Saucy Abel pick. Yeah, my partner Pookie actually drew that. Power bottom, Abel Rose. It's it very saucy, and I love it so much. Every time I see it, I'm like, why is this boy so hot? Pookie makes everyone hot. Well, I guess while I wait for Brad to realive, I'll go back and read some things in chat too that I missed. Um, Pookie, thank you so much for the biddies. I appreciate that. And Juniper, thank you for the pride flags because this is very much a gay fluff that I wrote for everyone at Camp Boo-lieve. Willy is very much a summer child. He really is. Let's see here. We have a dark-haired academia mysterious man and definitely wears bright-colored flamingo Hawaiian shirts. Anime himbo. Yes. Yes, we do.
What'd I miss?
Oh, you're back. Hello. I was reading some things in chat.
I sent a message saying I have realized some some
Great.
some POD for you.
It
Anyway,
just your computer couldn't handle about the best part that was building up.
that was the issue. It was too much.
It just wanted to leave everyone in suspense.
It's like no. Let's see.
We'll back it up a little bit. Um, Willie let out a soft laugh.
Oh, okay. Sure thing, Abe. Whatever you say, I got you. Hey, so know how we were like talking about like you being cousins or like second cousins with a dog man and stuff?
Abel stared across the table at his friend, bewildered and already mentally bracing for where this conversation was heading. We have literally never talked about this, but do go on with your change of topic, Williard.
Yeah. So I was just thinking about it the other day, right?
Willie leaned in closer, his voice dropping to a soft whisper, one that tried too hard to be quiet and ended up still being louder than Abel could have prepared for.
Does does like that mean your dick is like a thing of lipstick? You, you know what I'm talking about, right?
The second that visual dropped into his head, a piece of Abel's soul shattered and fled from his body as his jaw dropped. Where had this even come from? What on earth compelled Willie to even... There was no way Abel could have prepared himself for something like that to just vomit out of his friend's mouth. That was, without a doubt, a part of his charm, something unique to Willie and Willie alone. Giving a nod, giving a nod, the man then continued, far from being over.
I was waiting for the reaction. uh, oh, okay, that's me, right?
Yeah, that's
I'm,
you.
so, I'm trying to recover. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I heard that they can also like not or something too. Is that also true? Wait, wait. Why is your face red? Are you okay, Abe? Did I say something weird?
The dark-haired man promptly reached for his wallet, slamming money down on the table and pulling the entire cafe's attention in the process, before grabbing their belongings and dragging Willie out by the collar of his shirt.
Did I say something wrong?
Willie, let's just go to the mall now. How does that sound? Abel's brow twitched as he looked back at the man being towed behind.
Sure, but I didn't get my food to go in.
That's fine. If you're hungry later, they do have food stalls at the mall. You can simply eat there. Willie scratched the back of his head, still unable to comprehend the situation, but figuring it was better to simply agree with whatever his friend had decided on. Once they were far enough away from the cafe, they took time to put on their gloves, scarves, and coats, before pressing towards the mall.
Abe?
The man sighed, looking to his friend. What is it now? Glancing down at his iridescent shoes for but a second, Willie remained silent, as a far more important question brewed in his head. He then directed his attention back towards Abel.
What, um, what did you do after camp ended? You, you never really said.
I wonder that myself sometimes, he breathed out, forcing a small smile that quickly retreated.
What?
He watched his friend from the corner of his eyes. His cheeks dusted a soft pink before looking back on ahead and allowing the silence from before to return and wedge between them. Though he had anticipated the question coming up sooner or later, he hadn't thoroughly prepared an answer. Well, more so he knew, but didn't quite know how to formulate a proper response to his friend. part of him didn't have the heart to say that he had been on his mind since the very last day of camp. He was worried. Worried about how Willy would handle being back home, worried about how he'd take to readjusting to everything, and, well, maybe the word miss was simply a better way to describe his complex thoughts and emotions, and the heavy feeling that settled in his chest. He missed the sound of his voice, hearing the silly tangents he would go off on time and time again, and, well, he simply missed just having him nearby as company. Each day gone signified one day closer to their farewells at Camp Boo-lieve. He knew eventually it would come to this. Everyone did. But he'd be damned if it wasn't the hardest thing he'd ever had to do. He didn't want to say goodbye. Not to Michael, April, Chad, Rose and Thorn, Winston, and certainly not to Willy. He was the gentle kisses of the summer sun, stolen in that transition to winter by those bitter, sub-zero winds. Letting out another sigh, Abel finally mustered out words. It, it was a struggle, admittedly, though a bit different from yours, perhaps. I enjoyed sleeping in my own bed and not having to worry about if my ears would bleed the first thing in the morning or not, but his voice fell soft. It definitely felt lonely. Lonely was, without a doubt, the word he had been looking for. Sure, he had his roommates and friends from before camp still there in his life, but there had been a space there that Willy had created for himself, and to not have him there, to be forced to find something, to be forced into finding a way to fill in that void, it was a struggle. He had found himself more easily frustrated, more moody than normal, struggling to come to terms with Willy not being there. Those around him even commented that he began spacing out, though Abel would argue that was not the case. He certainly was not spacing out. Abel himself would spat back with things bared. But really, it was true. He spaced out thinking about how Willy was and what he was doing now with his life. Was he still just as much a mess in the mornings now like he was back at camp? Was he still putting his shirt on backwards, waking up with his hair going in 20 million different directions? Was he still freaking out in the early hours of the morning and falling out of bed? Abel couldn't help but wonder. So when it came down to this very special day, where he could finally see him again, of course he was delighted. Of course his chest felt full and light. Of course it was. That's what happiness was supposed to feel like. Right?
What'd you say, Abe?
Abel raised a brow.
Sorry, I didn't catch what you said because of that truck passing by.
Uh, I was just muttering. Don't worry about it, Willy. Taking hold of his hand, Abel then pulled him into a brief run. Anyway, the mall's just up ahead. Let's hurry so we can get out of the cold, alright? I don't need to be delivering a Willy popsicle back home to your dad.
Sure thing, man. Whatever you say.
Jesus Christ, there's a lot of people here.
Abel groaned, the corner of his lips quick to form a sneer. The two of them slipped in through the towering glass doors, making their way in through the crowded food court, where they stopped briefly to catch their breath. The smell of mixed fast foods and grease filled the air, suffocated more by idle chatter and screaming children. Crossing his arms, Abel added on.
You would think being a weekday, it wouldn't be so busy. Not that this hinders anything. Less people would have been more ideal, though.
Willie stole a look around, his eyes scanning over the bright neon signs of various places like the Taco King, Red Panda Express, and the Vegeta House, before taking off his coat and hat. Yeah, it's kind of warm in here too. Should we get one of those locker things? I think the last time I was here, they had those.
Hmm. Actually, yeah. That's a great idea, Willy.
The dark haired man turned to look at his friend before pointing off in some direction.
They're over this way, so let's do that first. That way, we don't have to carry our stuff around. Then we can head to the bookstore. It's, on my list and will be the closest to our current destination.
Oh, you mean that, Warden's bookstore? Abel nodded.
Yeah, that one.
Aren't they going out of business? Willie asked. The two of them making way towards the lockers.
Shoot, Willy, don't tell me this.
Abel snapped.
I don't want to have to walk to farms and peasants anytime I want a new book.
Yeah, but couldn't you just like ask your grandma to take you though? Or does she not drive?
Willy,
Abel passed a soft glare.
for the last time, I don't live with old people. My roommate is only a year younger than myself, and his name is Steve.
Oh, uh, like that one stuffed rabbit? A defeated sigh left from him, ready to drop the conversation as a whole as he drew up a hand and began to rub the left side of his temple.
Yes, Willy, just like that one stuffed rabbit.
Bzz, bzz.
Mm. Hold on, Willy. Give me a second. Someone has bad timing deciding to text me today of all days.
Willie already had his coat and half his body stuffed into the locker, looked back at Abel and gave a nod. Yeah, sure, no problem, man. His emerald eyes scanned over the text the second the phone had loaded it up, from an unknown number no less. At first, he thought it might have been his roommate, hence the urgency to read it, but it appeared to be no one other than a troll. They had messaged prior to their arrival at the mall, sending a long string of laugh cry emojis. No doubt when they were at the restaurant, judging by the time. And there was even some corrupted messages mixed in too. But the most recent one that could be read was, "Having fun, Romeo?" Abel's eyes furrowed, half tempted to text back, "Wrong number," or to just block it altogether. Maybe it was one of those phishing texts. Instead, he just sighed, shook his head, and stuck his phone back into his pocket.
It was just one of those spam texts, I
He
think.
replied. He replied, soon taking notice that Willie had somehow completely stuffed himself into a locker.
I
I.
look away for not even a minute. How the hell did you pull this off?
Willie let out a soft laugh that echoed against the metallic walls. It's like that one I'm a Gucci fault manga, Abe. It's deeper than Narnia in here.
I. You know what? We're just going to get you out of there and pretend this didn't happen at all. Sound good?
Uh, yeah, that sounds good and stuff. I'd get myself out, but I think I'm stuck in here pretty good. With mishaps set aside and the struggle of yanking Willie out, once their winter attire had been intricately fitted and stuffed into one of the lockers thanks to Abe, the two of them then proceeded off towards the bookstore. Abel's favorite thing about bookstores were simple. He loved the smell of books greeting one's nose, the smell of coffee if said shop had one inside, and he loved how hushed everything was, like a quiet winter day with freshly fallen snow. To him, it was perfect. It made his chest swell every time he stepped foot inside. He didn't even have to purchase anything to be satisfied. Simply being within the store was enough to dramatically change his mood from sour to appeased, as if it were like flipping a switch. His eyes began to scan over each colorful display that greeted them the second they walked through the doors, before drifting towards the best selling selection, followed next by the ones marked Hot Deals. Is there any book you're looking for, Abe? Willie whispered, walking up beside him. The man passed him a glance, smiling softly.
No, not really.
he admitted.
I have plenty to read at home. I just like the atmosphere bookstores give off. It's very relaxing to me.
Huh. Willie looked around again, taking in the almost sophisticated scenery that was offered. Yeah, yeah, I guess this is kind of your thing, isn't it? Abel gave a nod, followed by a soft hum in agreement, reaching for a piece of fiction and thumbing through it, immediately being pulled into its contents.
I wonder if this is a new series or. Hmm.
Being the taller of the two, Willie peered over his friend's shoulder, curious to see what it was he was looking at.
Is something wrong?
Abel asked before returning the book to its shelf. No, I was just trying to see what you liked, is all. Abel's cheeks flushed.
I, I mean,
He crossed his arms, looking away as his voice fell soft.
I suppose you could have simply asked what genre I liked, but I do have a wide range of taste, and just because I like a certain genre doesn't necessarily mean I like the writer placed within it.
Willie gave a nod. Yeah, no, I get exactly what you mean, dog. It's the same thing with games. Like, you can really enjoy JRPGs, but like not every JRPG is gonna suit your taste. Sometimes the stories to them can be weak or underdeveloped or underwhelming, or well, the characters are just poorly written. Placing a hand on his hip, the smaller man offered another smile, watching as Willie began to talk with his hands. His passion was contagious, and for a brief second, Abel felt the urge to silence him by taking hold of his face and pulling him in for a. Abel quickly discarded the thought, shaking his head. And then there are those ones that have really good stories, but the mechanics of them are just complete dog shit. Oh, sorry. Don't take that personally. It's a figure of speech.
Willie,
Abel interjected.
you really like games, don't you?
He gave a nod in reply to this. And music, yeah.
Hmm, I see. I'll be sure to make a mental note of this.
Hey, Abe, would you wouldn't mind if we, checked out the PHYE while we're here, would you?
Certainly not. Do you want to check it out now?
Really scratched the back of his head. Uh, when you're finished, I just, want to see if there's a new album there.
There was nothing I needed to do here. I simply just wanted to browse, but this is just as much my day as it is yours, and if there's something you want to do or a place you want to visit, please say so. I don't want to be dragging you around left and right. That's not exactly fair to you, is it? If you want to check out the PHYE, then we can go there now.
Willie gave kind of a smirk before taking hold of Abe's hand. All right, and let's go.
Um, do you want to break here? How's Buddy doing over there?
He was staring at me for a long time, but then he's still staring at me. Maybe it'd be a good idea to let him out.
All right, well, we're going to take a short break. We will return when Brad resumes consciousness again.
We'll see about that.
I mean, I'll just keep reading without you. It doesn't matter to me either way.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All
All right.
right. All right, we will be right back. Oh hey, hello. We're back again
Oh
with
no.
with the saucy Abel pick back up. I'm
Oh god.
I am going to give it like a few more minutes so for people to get situated and get settled back in. Just
Plus
in case.
we can also get some good stuff and make sure we order from the Vagina Hut.
uh that was that was such a fun part to write. Um so going back to them stepping into the mall, of which, by the way, you're going to find a lot of parodies in this, especially next part. So if
Jesus.
if if you catch anything where you're like, that sounds familiar, that sounds like I might actually know what that is, but I might be wrong. No, odds are you're probably hearing it right. I parodied a lot of shit. Um, including the farms and peasants, which when I changed that I'd sent Brad an audio. I was laughing for like a solid. I was laugh crying for a solid 10 minutes because I thought that was just the
uh,
funniest shit ever.
it was I think it was longer than that. I think it was probably a good at least 15 minutes of just like audio, just you just crying
Losing
and
my shit.
screaming. And I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, I think I was in the middle of something. I was
You were
doing
at
something
work.
else. Oh, was I at work? Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm just sitting there and I'm just hearing like every audio is just ah!
I couldn't say farms and peasants without fucking losing my absolute shit because I'm like Barnes and Nobles more like farms and peasants and I don't know why
Am I
that was just the
right?
funniest fucking shit to me.
No, the Vagina Hut is right next to the Vagina Hut. Yeah, yeah, that's the new Victoria's Secrets in this one. That's the Vagina Hut.
Oh god, I'm gonna die. The red panda express too fucking killed me. I'm like, Brad, give me a list of like parody restaurant names. He's like, Red Panda Express, and I'm like, Red Panda Express, yeah.
I'm like Taco King, Vagina Hut.
Which, by the way, Willie canonically says vagina instead of fajitas.
Yeah, yeah.
Just so you all know this, Brad told me this.
That and Quesadilla.
I love quesadillas.
Tacos.
I always say that when my mom used to make fucking quesadillas. I'm like, ah, you're making them their quesadillos.
I said vagina once in front of my mom, and she thought I said like a like a swear word of some kind. She like clutched her pearls and was like for like a second, and I was like, oh no, you didn't say vagina.
I can't picture your mom clenching her.
It wasn't like it wasn't like that. It was more or less just like she was because like I do cuss in front of my mom as like not good as that's supposed to be, but my whole family like cusses all the time. But like it was when I was like I think I was in high school, and I said like I was like redoing like a Family Guy joke or something, and I said vagina, and she just looked at me. She was like, and I looked at me. She was, oh, I see.
It's kind of like how we just say Target as Target, like offhandedly.
Yeah, see, my mom says that not not as a joke. She's like, oh yeah, we're going to Target later, and she used to call Aeropostale as Aeropostale.
Oh my god.
A lot of emphasis on things. Not really sure why.
It's gotta be that French. Aeropostale.
I think she just felt like she was just more finer than we really are.
I wish I could be classy going into Target. Instead, I always look like a fucking scrub.
When I go into Target and I get my Starbucks and I have my pinky out the entire
Brad, you don't
time.
ever leave your house.
Hey,
When was the
they don't
last
know
time you
that.
were at the Target?
Oh, bro, that was last year at least. Last year at least, dude. I was I remember it was like during the middle of the pandemic. I'm like, all right, I need to like get out of the house. And then as soon as I step out, I see everybody's like all coughing and sneezing and like throwing shit at each other. And I'm like, and I just walk back into the house.
Yeah.
But I went out for Yu-Gi-Oh cards once.
Priorities, man. Priorities.
It was very important at the time.
I bet it was.
I in one of the packs that I got, I ended up pulling like a $500 card. I sold it on eBay. It was awesome. But yeah, you see how fucking Alex calls me out. I'm like, yeah, dude. I'm like over here joking about leaving the house, and he's just like, you fucking silly bitch.
But
You never leave.
you're like, you little dick waffle. And I'm like, yes, with that syrup and ice cream on top.
Fucking dick waffle.
I am the dick waffle.
You're coughing in video games and want to die. Bro,
That's a
honestly.
trigger response. Like, it's become,
Oh yeah. That's
yeah,
PTSD right there, dude. Like
the same thing.
oh man. It's that's why I can't play like the Metro series, man. They always got like sick people like walking around in there and I'm like, no, I can't do this. It's just too fucking much. As soon as I hear coughing, I'm like, I'm out. I'm good. I throw my mask on while I'm playing.
Oh my god.
I'm like, am I safe?
Safe from the metro.
See, Pale Bunny gets it. It's hard to go to Tarjay all the time. You know what I mean?
I mean, it is. I almost went to Tarjay today.
Well, you would have had that extra bit of fanciness added to you if you did.
Honestly, if I were going to Tarjay, it would only be for Starbucks, but I can just go to an actual Starbucks and
There's
avoid
actually a
Tarjay.
yeah, there's actually a Starbucks in that parking lot.
Yeah, we have a Starbucks. We have a Starbucks at Barnes and Nobles. We have a Starbucks in our Meijer. We have a
Yep.
Starbucks in our
Yep.
fucking Tarjay.
Yeah. And
That's
then
everywhere.
there's a standalone Tarjay slash not Star sorry, I'm so used to saying Tarjay now. A standalone Starbucks in the same parking lot as fucking Target. Like if you just go north just a little bit, it's right there. Literally.
Did
It's
a new one
insane.
pop up? Because I knew there was one right next to a dental office, ironically, but that's before Tarjay.
Oh, dude, they're taking over every fucking thing. But no, no, I mean, like it's you know where Qdoba is up there, the north end.
Yeah,
It's right there. It's literally right there. It's like right next door. So it's like you go to the same like parking lot as the fucking mall, like where everything's right in front there. It's right there. So you have like 4 or 5 Starbucks within like less than a mile radius.
that's true, yeah. All right.
Enough Starbucks and Tarjay.
All right. We're going to jump back into this extremely uh homoerotic fluff. Just kidding, it's not erotic, but
Homoerotic. I thought you
that
were gonna
that
say
would get my channel
hardcore,
banned. No.
hardcore fluff.
It is pretty hardcore fluff though if you think about it.
It is.
Abel's pretty straightforward right now, and that's like the straightest thing in this guy's life.
Fuck.
Abel's not very
Fuck.
straight.
Poor this poor guy.
This poor vanilla boy.
All right, man.
All
Are you
right.
ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this, gang.
With a crackle, snap, and a pop, Abel and Willy immediately stopped the second they stepped foot in the PHYE, their heads looking up towards the loudspeakers as the dark-haired man cocked a brow, sneering. The hell is going on?
Uh, never heard this song before, Abe.
Willy asked, looking to him. No, he replied without missing a beat.
Yeah, it's in that one Gord movie. It came out a few years back.
Never saw it, Abel admitted. I'm Not the greatest
Fresh
at keeping
victims
up
for the
with.
ever-growing army of
Oh
the
shit.
undead.
Nelly fucking K.
There
I love
she
you, bitch.
There she fucking is. Stay here so you can have the technical difficulties that we're having, please.
Wow.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
That's fine, Brad. You wanted to now go right ahead. Go right ahead. Karma will get back. Don't you worry about that.
I already had it happen to me, dude.
Currently muted, but I'm busy. I love you both, Mel.
Thanks for showing up, though. We happy. Oh, she's just gonna be hearing how we're dogging on her. That was really nice of her. That was real nice.
Love you too, Nell. Let's see. Never saw it, Abel admitted. I'm not the greatest at keeping up with movies.
Yeah, it has that one dude in it. Um, Crispy Rats.
Willy. Crossing his arms, Abel turned his head to look at him. That's not an actual name.
Uh, I think that's actually his name, Abe.
He watched as Willy strolled forward before looking back up at the loudspeakers and narrowing his gaze. Having caught some lyrics about lips being sweet like candy, his thoughts promptly fell back to this one time back at camp, when Willy had chocolate from a Snickers bar smeared all over his face. To Abel, it was silly to see, even pitiful, shameless, and, well, it was cute. Even back then, there had always been that irresistible urge to wipe his face clean, and Abel's cheeks flushed for a second, before his face then fell flat. The man forcing out a sigh and shaking his head. Whatever. This just seems strange. Literally the second we walk in? Come on now. But the suspicion he held dissipated rather quickly the further inside he got, allowing himself to become distracted by the surrounding environment. It had been a few years since Abel had found himself in a music store, thoughts from a decade back resurfacing as his eyes scanned over the rows and rows of albums that rested on either side. Now and again he glanced to see Willy searching the highs and lows for that one particular album he just had to have, a smile forming at the corner of his lips as his heartbeat quickened. But just a little. Maybe it wouldn't hurt to fall back a little while he's preoccupied, Abel thought, taking up a pair of headphones and scanning some older tracks from bands like his and IFA. Once he had created a playlist, he just stood there, shutting his eyes and letting the music carry him through memories from some 10 years back, both the pleasant and those not quite so. How long he had been out listening to various tracks remained the million-dollar question, Abel being pulled back to reality as Willy tapped him on the shoulder. Did you find what you were looking for? He asked, removing his headphones. His friend gave a pretty smug smile, holding it up.
Hell yeah, I did. Check this out. The latest album from Mr. Kitty.
The fact that he looked as though he had accomplished the hardest task known to mankind, and stood so tall and proud, forced Abel to smile. Had they been somewhere more private, he would have reached up and ruffled his hair. Instead, he simply replied back with, "That's great, Williard. I'm happy you were able to find it."
What were you listening to anyway?
Willy suddenly asked, looking over the man's shoulder.
You, were pretty into whatever it was, man. I look back now and again and just saw your hips kind of swaying and stuff.
Blood rushed to Abel's cheeks, flushing from embarrassment as words caught in his throat. Uh, just some songs I used to listen to back in high school. Nothing worth mentioning, really. Willie stole a glance at the songs lingering on the playlist, and then back to Abe.
I didn't know you listened to doomer music, man.
The dark-haired man flinched at this remark. Yeah, you could, say that. Noticing his friend had been staring, he continued, scratching the back of his head. I, was pretty big into the scene phase back when I was a kid. It isn't something I'm particularly proud to admit, you know? I mean, like, I wore all that shit, the tight pants and shirt and Vans, had black nail polish and shit, eyeliner, eyeshadow, you know, that shit. I even wore those neon rubber bracelets all up my arms, had a nose piercing, and played guitar too.
Huh. I I never guessed you played guitar. That's that's kind of cool, man.
Yeah, I guess so. I used to go to parties and stuff too. Typical high school shit that's better off suppressed, you know? Like what all the punks did. Used to drink and grind with others on the dance floor. I I wouldn't really say I was a hot shot or anything though, just someone with a pretty face trying to find my place back then. Didn't really fit in with my family, so after high school I waited for the right moment and upped and moved across the state to go to college. That's when I got my apartment and really started to learn about who I was. A lot happens in a year, but more within a decade. We do a lot of growing, but never really stop. He looked to see Willie examining the stacks of albums, offering another smile before crossing his arms, leaning back into the table. What about you, Willie?
Huh?
The man stared back quizzically. I told you about myself, so what were you like back in high school, Mr. Hotshot?
Uh,
His voice began to trail off. Various chaotic memes of trying to chug pop without burping and even trying to stretch out a rubber band as far as it could go ran through his head as he tried to formulate a reply.
I watched a lot of Jackass when I was in high school. So, uh,
Willie let out a nervous laugh, glancing away.
just typical high schooler things. Yeah.
Huh. Abel gave a slight tilt of his head, followed shortly by a soft laugh. I suppose that does. I suppose that is fitting of you. It's a shame that our paths didn't cross sooner. I'm sure you were just as interesting back then.
Is that Muse?
Willie suddenly blurted, reaching for one of the albums near his friend. Abel jumped a bit before a soft sigh, before releasing a soft sigh in relief. Oh, yeah, I liked listening to them a lot, particularly that album right there. It had a good rhythm for rocking your hips too. He looked at Abe.
Hey, let's listen to it together.
Why?
Well,
He paused for a moment.
I mean, why not, man?
Willie questioned. Abel felt his cheeks grow hot once again as he quickly averted his eyes. Because you could just listen to it yourself, couldn't you? When he stole a glance and saw Willie look the album over again and then to him, he let out a reluctant sigh. Okay, fine. One song, your choice. But that's it, got it?
Yeah, sure thing, man. It's a deal. Drawing in a deep
Oh,
breath.
no, that's my line, sorry.
You're going it?
Yeah.
Okay. Might be.
I
Might
was
be.
just laughing at what you never said.
What's that? Oh God. Oh no.
Drawing in a deep breath, Abel slowly released it, watching as his friend began to set it up. Relax, he told himself. It's just one song, right? No need to be so nervous. Wait, why am I nervous anyway? His brows furrowed. I'm literally just listening to a song with my friend. I've got nothing to be so worked up about. This is just silly. We're literally just out having fun. It's no big deal, right?
Here, Abe.
Willie spoke, pulling the man from his intrusive thoughts and passing a pair of headphones to him. Get your song picked out?
Yeah.
Willie replied with a big teething grin. Alright then. Let's see what one you went with, Hotshot. As they put the headphones on, and his friend hit the play button, the second Abel heard that iconic heavy riff drop, he already knew a mistake had been made. Still, just as he did all those years back, he rolled with the punches, stealing a glance at Willy as the both of them started singing along softly beneath their breaths. That is to say, until one very particular part came up, and the both of them turned to look at each other right in the eyes, singing in the worst possible tone.
Ready?
Ready?
Let's do it.
But oh,
Oh,
baby,
baby,
I'm a
I'm a
fool
fool
for you!
for you.
Taking off the headphones, the both of them then began to laugh, experiencing a kind of fun neither of them had heard in experiencing a kind of fun neither of them had had probably in quite a while. It was silly and joyful, almost bringing them to tears. Had they not been laughing so hard. It was just sung so horribly and so out of key. How could they not laugh? All right, Abel finally spoke. You've had your fun.
Hey, you guys gonna buy something?
A voice called to them. Abel flinched, having forgotten that there had been people around them, his face flushing bright red yet again.
Yeah.
Willie called out to the guy behind the counter. He gave a quick thumbs up, adding on,
No problem, man. I got you.
drawing in a staggering breath. Abel brought his hands up to his face and let out an equally long exhale, pulling his friend's attention, raised brow and all. Well, that was embarrassing.
You okay, man?
Yeah, I just need a minute, Abel replied.
Hey, Abe.
Yes, Willie, he breathed back, exasperated.
What kind of music do you like tend to listen to? Like uh, now?
Abel looked up at him. What do you mean? Willie, there's literally a stack right in front of... It was only then that he took notice to Willie's attempt to change the topic slightly by distracting him with questions. This, of course, made the corner of his lips form a small smile. Of course he would do this. Abel shook his head. That was so very much like him. I guess stuff that has a fast pace to it like symphonic metal, but it's really hard to say because I like other things with heavy beats to them. Sorry, Willie. I don't think that's a question I can easily answer. Letting out a soft hum, Willie allowed the answer to bounce around in his head before giving a nod.
Hmm, I think I get what you mean. I have a wide range of tastes too.
Oh, yeah? Abel then smirked. Like that Mr. Kitty there? Willie nodded assertively.
Have you listened to him before?
Placing a hand on his hip, the dark-haired man shook his head. Willie, I've never even heard of them until now. Looking up towards the ceiling, the taller of the two spaced out for a second before looking back down to the other.
Hey, Abe, I got an idea.
You've been having a lot of those. I don't know if I should be scared at this point or not.
What if I bought you a copy to listen to as well?
I've got a better proposition, Williard. Things as you're so keen on learning what kind of music I like. How about this? We each pick out 5 CDs that we really like, and exchange them with the other for the other person to listen to. From those stacks, we'll end up picking one to buy, so you pick one from the stack I gave you that you like the most, and I'll pick one from the stack you gave me that I like the most. Sound fair?
Huh.
Willie thought about it for a second or three before smiling.
Actually, yeah. Yeah, okay. That does sound like a pretty good idea.
Abel nodded. Yeah, and that way we get a better idea of the other's taste in music.
Yeah, okay. Sure. I'm down for that.
Alright then, let's meet back up here after we've acquired 5. Looking down at his hand, Willy mentally counted to 5 and then nodded. When they acquired the ones they wanted to share with the other, they returned and exchanged them as agreed upon. Willy thumbed curiously through the ones Abel had handed him, noticing some titles like Trespassing, Shriekworks, December Upper Ground, The Purple Halo, and Life is an Overcrowded Waiting Room.
These are killing me. Uh, hey, Abe, this one guy here, like, he's staring kind of weird, Abe.
Willie pointed out at the faded gray and yellow album. A smirk dressed the man's face. Yeah, it's called a headshot, Willie. He's playing off a smolder effect as a marketing tactic because most male singers have a very large fan base. He then looked down at the stack Willie had handed him, his eyes glimpsing over the selections curiously, almost greedily, seeing titles like Facial Expressions, Time, Now That's the Spirit, More Than Just a Dream. Abel furrowed his brows. Willie.
Yeah, Abe?
Holding up an album by Queen, Abel then passed it back to him. Pick a different album. Willie took hold of it before looking back to his friend.
Yeah, but it's Queen.
I know who it is, Willie. I've listened to them a lot.
Yeah, but it has You're My Best Friend on it.
Willie, please, Abel begged, placing a hand on his chest. Pick me out an album of a band I'm not familiar with. With a frown, he gave a small nod.
Yeah, sure thing, Abe.
Taking the time to think for a moment, Willie then turned around to go retrieve an album. Upon returning, he then passed it back to Abe, his tone still soft.
Here, man.
Don't fake it? Abel read out loud. He gave another nod. All right then, let's start this up. They stood side by side with their stacks of album near, placing their headphones back on and working their way through one selection after the next. Now and again, Abel found himself stealing glances at Willie the longer that disappointed tone from earlier sank into his head. It was pretty obvious he was hurt, and knowing this made him feel anxious, allowing those intrusive thoughts from earlier to return, this time harsher than the last. He drew in a deep breath, releasing it and sighed with hopes to relax. But it seemed like no matter which album he listened to, there was always a song or three that made him think of Willie, making his heart rise and fall, making it swell and even wither. Yet the deeper he fell into their lyrics, the more it drove him mad. Maybe even pissed him off a little. Maybe I should just tell him already. How long am I going to keep fooling myself anyway, huh? I mean, what's the worst that could happen? I lose him as a friend. I make things awkward. He mentally scoffed. Well, he's already awkward enough without anyone's help, and he's not someone who would just abandon his friends over something like that. Abel stole another glance, one that lingered just a few seconds longer than the last, his cheeks flushing again. Would he even know what I meant if I said anything at all? Well, he certainly won't know if I don't say something. That much is obvious. Abel furrowed his brows and sneered to himself, snatching off the headphones and taking hold of the albums, looking them over once again. As a means to try to distract himself, he decided it was best to focus on which one he should buy. A hard choice given all the albums reflected his friend quite well, both in personality and in taste.
Hey, Abe?
The dark-haired man flinched, slowly looking his way. Yeah?
Are you done with listening?
Yeah, what's up?
There's, one more I forgot about.
Abel cocked a brow as Willie slid him a strange album, one that didn't make sense at all as he looked it over. The picture of Godzilla, an infant, a dog, rooster, and a frog plastered against a very crisp white background only made him wonder more what was going on. Or, more so, what he was about to get into. Willy.
Just a song, not the whole album.
All right, Willy. Fine. He looked up at him again, holding up a single finger. One more song. Willy gave a smile, one that made Abel feel a bit better from earlier's mishap, scanning the album. You can hit play whenever, Williard. His friend smiled at this, quick to smash the button and looking to Abe with a sort of excitement looming in his eyes, waiting for one particular part to come up. He watched as the gears in his friend's head started to turn, seeing him bounce the beat around before taking notice he was being watched. It's not bad so far, Willy. It has a nice beat to it. I kind of like it. Willy drew in a breath, becoming more eager as the song continued. But the moment the sound of dogs barking began to play, Abel's curious gaze turned sharp as he glared back at his friend.
Um, what are they saying?
Abel ripped off the headphones, letting out a snarl. Willy, for the last time, I'm not a dog. I'm not a translator for that matter either. Willy stared back for a second before scratching the back of his messy dark and platinum hair.
I was kind of hoping, because I'm gonna be honest, I've always wanted to know what dogs could say, so I was hoping you could tell me if they were happy in the song or something.
It was hard to stay mad at him when he defaulted to that particular tone. Letting out a defeated snort, Abel glanced away. He could easily just make something up, he thought, and Willy would never know. Setting down the headphones, he then plucked up a CD from the stack closest to him before stealing another glance at his friend. I think they said we should get the fuck out of here. Would he really know that he just made that up on spot, or would he not? Willy wasn't as simple as people made him out to be at times. At the very least, Abel thought, he had spared himself from having disappointed his friend for a third time.
That's weird. Oh, okay. I mean, uh, why?
Abel stared back dumbfounded, blinking casually now and again in the awkward silence surrounding them. Why, what?
Like, I mean, I guess it makes sense. They probably don't want to be there because they're just like probably in like a booth and they're just telling them to start barking and stuff. That is kind of weird. Yeah. You know what? All right. Yeah, I'll take that.
Pinching the bridge of his nose, he could only force out a soft sigh before turning around. Willy, can we please get. Can you please just pick a CD already?
Oh, yeah, no problem, man. I'll meet you at a register. Give me a give me a second here.
The man looked back down at the albums, studying them carefully. Occasionally he'd reach for one, but then a second later he would retract his hand and shake his head. It was pretty clear he was taking this very seriously, a thought that made his friend want to smile. Sure thing, Abel replied back, giving a careless shrug and heading towards the register. Taking a look around the store, Willie then smiled to himself once he was alone, picking up a duplicate copy of Mr. Kitty, along with one of the albums from the stack Abel had picked out for him. When he approached the cash register, he raised a brow, not seeing his friend anywhere.
Did you find everything okay, sir?
The man asked in his most monotone customer service voice. He very clearly hated his job.
Yeah. Say, did you uh, did you see a man with like dark hair and stuff? Kind of on the shorter side. Um,
Willie used his hand to give an example of what Abel's height would be.
wearing like this kind of like red sweater. Did you see where he went?
The guy behind the register stared back at Willie, pointing out the door.
Yeah, thanks, man.
After handing the cashier some money, he then walked out and looked around. Nothing to his left and nothing to his right. Just spacious halls that, oddly enough, lacked people, given they were upstairs. It seemed like most of the congestion was downstairs where all the jewelry stores were at, including the movie theater and food court.
Did I make him mad?
He asked himself.
Or did he go sit down somewhere? Huh. I wonder if I had a dog whistle, would that work? Can he can he hear dog whistles? I should ask him that. If dog whistles hurt dogs' ears.
I heard that, Abel exhaled. Willie let out a high-pitched scream before turning around.
Hey!
Yeah,
Oh, there you are. You had me worried there for a second there.
he grew quiet.
I thought I accidentally upset you.
Abel crossed his arms. I appreciate your concern, but no, I'm not upset at you. I forgot something is all. Anyway, where to next? The man stared back.
Don't don't you have your list thing? Is that is that what you forgot?
I left it in the lockers downstairs, and quite honestly, I don't feel like walking back to get it, but no, that's not what I forgot. Anyway,
Oh,
go ahead and pick something. Willie thought for a moment, mulling on an idea of what his friend would like. He drew a breath in, about to speak before going silent, furrowing his brows. No, that wouldn't work. He then drew in another breath, about to say something before going silent yet again. No, that wouldn't work either. In his third attempt, Abel took hold of him by the hand. You know what? I I think I've got an idea. Let's just get going, okay?
Yeah, sure thing, Abe. Abel's idea was, simply put, something Willie had actually brought up back when they were at the bookstore. The bright, glowing fluorescent sign of BG Games rested high above them as they stood outside the mall's only video game store.
Here we are.
But before the shorter man could finish what he was about to say, Willie darted into the store head on, left in the dust. Abel could only sigh before smiling to himself, drawing up a hand and pressing it into his forehead.
Looks like my guess was spot on. I'll take that as a win.
Sick! Willie shouted. They're taking pre orders for the latest Yakuza game. Abel strolled up behind him, raising a brow.
You said something about that when we were at camp, right? That it was one of those games you really liked, right?
Turning to look at his friend, Willie's eyes lit up with excitement as he gave a nod. Yeah, man, they're really good games. I'm not sure what kind of games you would like though, but I mean, if you ever wanted to like borrow one of mine, I like have them all. That might be better than like buying something without knowing if you like it or not.
Sh- sure.
Abel's cheeks flushed as he looked away, visibly tensing up.
I'm, not all that caught up on games. I do appreciate the offer, Willie. I don't play many, but I do like them. I'm just always busy with school and work, but I'd, make the time if it's something you'd recommend.
When he stole a glance and saw Willie still staring, he cleared his throat.
I'm, I kind of like one similar to, like, Dragon Knights 11, Squid Path, and, Blazing Emblems.
The same expression Willie had outside the music store appeared on his face yet again as he began to think, this time more carefully. So, okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, you're more of a turn-based kind of guy. Abel cocked a brow.
Oh, what? I, I mean, sure.
Yeah, no, those are like RPGs and stuff. Remember how I like brought them up at like Warden's bookstore? Giving a slow nod, the dark-haired man could only agree. He remembered, sort of. He was more distracted by Willie instead of listening entirely to what his tangent had been about, though.
Sure.
Oh! Willie suddenly grabbed Abel's by the hand. I got it, man. Follow me. Yeah, boy. I figured it out.
Kind of hard to not follow you when you've got a death grip on my hand, Williard.
Abel remarked, his face still bright red. In the back of the store, the two stopped in front of the PlayStation rack before Abel's hand had finally been granted freedom. Do you have a PlayStation?
Uh,
Abel thought for a second, massaging his wrists.
Great question. I don't personally know, but my roommate might. Maybe.
Willie turned to face Abe.
What?
The man took a small step back.
Why are you looking at me like that?
I know when you like.
I see.
Reaching for one off the rack, Willie then handed his friend a game with the bold characterizations of P and 5.
What's this?
Abel muttered, examining the game in hand. Person 5. His friend stated firmly. It's one of my favorites. Abel's ears perked up at this before looking up. Now he was interested.
I see.
I think you really like it, Abe. We're kind of like these two characters in this game. Their names are Ryuji and Akira, but I like uh, don't want to spoil it and stuff for you. A tender smile dressed the man's face as he looked down to the game once more.
Well, if it's one you treasure and personally recommend, then I guess I have no choice but to play it.
Willie let out a soft laugh, smiling back at his friend before swiping it out of Abe's hands, immediately walking up to the cash register.
Hey!
Abel shouted.
I don't. Williard!
The snarl quickly followed.
Williard Nakamura, I don't need you to buy that for me.
His friend looked back confused while handing the cashier some money. Yeah, but you bought lunch, man.
So?
The dark-haired man snapped back.
It literally wasn't much.
Don't sweat it, Abe. Willie took the bag and looked back at his friend. I wanted to anyway. Abel narrowed his eyes.
Oh, I see. You were just waiting to see when you could get back at me, weren't you?
Before he could add anything else on, his phone vibrated again.
For the love of, who is texting me at this time of day?
The man let out a grunt, pulling out his phone to see who it was messaging him this time. This whole situation is making me sick, it read, following by a string of puking emojis. Like, seriously, it's almost like this is a date or something. Vehemently, Abel replied back.
Yeah, well, no one fucking asked you. Now shut up and stop texting me.
You know, I don't want to be the one to say it and spoil your day, but you're almost out of time. And you still haven't told him how you feel. Kind of a shame, don't you think? This is such a wasted opportunity on your part. But I guess you're pretty good at not expressing how you feel. At least you got that monster trait down pat. Abel let out a low growl, anger seething in the corner of his eyes before Willie called out to him, pulling his attention. Hey, man, are you okay?
Yeah,
Abel exhaled.
just someone texting my phone again. It's kind of weird, you know?
Willie looked at it before looking into his friend. Maybe it's just a troll or something, or maybe it's got one of those viruses or something. With a sigh, Abel gave a reluctant nod.
I'd do a factory reset on it, but I'll be honest with you, Willie. I'm not particularly fond of losing your number.
I can just give it to you again, man. It's okay. Finally, he forced a smile.
We'll see.
He began.
Anyway, it's getting late, so I should probably start heading back. I don't need you freezing.
Willie nodded to this and they began to head towards the escalators, taking them down to the lower level so they could retrieve their belongings. You've literally wasted this whole day. You're not even going to hold his hand? Come on! Abel pulled out his phone, reading the message before irritation plastered itself all over his face. He was absolutely done with this. For a brief second, he thought about chucking his phone across the mall. The only thing that kept him from doing so was literally the man at his side. Hey, Abe?
Yeah?
He turned to look at his friend. Did you, did you ever, notice, how many couples are out? Abel flinched.
Oh, wait a minute.
He paused to think.
Willie, what's today's date?
Hmm. The man thought long and hard before pulling out his phone to check. February 14th. The both of them went silent for a solid minute, their faces growing red, before saying in unison,
Oh,
"Oh." Feeling another piece of his soul leave his body, Abel let out a defeated sigh, slumping his shoulders.
that that explains the weird looks we've been getting all day.
Hey, Abe. Abel looked at him. Did you, did you, did you have fun? The man furrowed his brows immediately.
Oh, of course I did.
Willie smiled. Yeah, I had a lot of fun too. It's, it's nice to be able to hang out and stuff, you know. I, I don't, I don't really get the chance to, well,
Fresh
you know.
victims for the ever-growing army of the
Abel
undead.
offered a small nod.
Yeah, yeah, I know, but hey, listen, Willie.
What's up?
Come back with me to my apartment, would you? I have something there for you.
Yeah, sure. No problem, man. Stealing a glance at his friend, Abel went to reach for his hand, then stopped, letting out a sigh before taking notice of the explosion of an overly decorated Hallmark holiday that had vomit all over the mall. He sighed. How had they literally been oblivious to everything this entire time?
Closing the apartment door behind them, Abel began to remove his coat before moving over to the counter, where he threw his bags up onto. Hey,
Hey,
Willie. The both of them looked at each other, staring quizzically. I'm
I'm
sorry about
sorry about
today,
today.
they continued.
Wait,
Wait, what?
what?
They both grew silent before Abel finally spoke. Hold on a minute. Why are you sorry?
Well, I mean, because I didn't get you anything for Valentine's Day.
Abel's jaw dropped. You. Willie. Taking a second to compose himself, he shook his head and drew in a deep breath. Willie, you literally bought me a game.
That and a CD too, but don't people usually give flowers or chocolates or something? Well, no. Actually, yeah, I guess dogs can't have chocolate, and I think most of those flowers they sell might. Yeah, I'm pretty sure most of those flowers are poisonous to dogmen too. Yeah, no, I guess a game in the CD is pretty okay too.
Wait, what? Willie looked at him, blinking as though there were not even a single thought behind those amber eyes of his. Slowly, he held up a bag from the PHYE.
I bought you a copy of Mr. Kitty, Abe. I'm not sure if dogmen like kittymen or not, but I like I really wanted you to have a copy too.
Willy. He let out a sigh before covering his mouth and looking away, taking a second to lean back into the wall behind them. I mean, if we're being honest here about what happened back at the PHYE, I did purchase that Queen album you showed me. He kicked himself off the wall, walking over to Willy. Look, I'm just happy I got to spend time with you. Even when we were at camp, the moments with you were. Abel paused, looking away for a brief second. I, I needed those. A lot. More than I probably ever let on. His friend smiled.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Abe.
Abel looked to him, his face growing hot. No, I mean it, Williard. Pinching the bridge of his nose, he forced out a sigh. If it was going to come down to it, of course it would be now. Of course it would be the most cliché and awkward moment, having Willy here in his apartment. Just the two of them. He felt his stomach grow heavy, beginning to flop over on itself. I haven't been completely honest here, but I. Hesitation held him back, those simple words resting on the tip of his tongue as he struggled to spit them out. I like you, Willy.
I like you too, Abe.
Willy replied back without skipping a beat, the man having already removed his winter attire, hanging it up next to his friend's. Abel flinched, beginning to panic. No, I mean, like, I like you romantically, Willy. He walked up to him. It's. Look, it's hard for me to say things like this, but you. You make me feel complete. Before Willy could even speak, Abel quickly added on, Willy, I can understand if you might not feel the same way, or even don't know how to feel, but. He sneered to himself. Dear gods, why am I about to say this? Willy, I can't deny that at some point at camp I fell in love with you.
Uh, oh,
Abel's face grew redder in his own fluster. Sorry, I'm sure a confession like this is kind of sudden and awkward. I'm awkward, but so are you. Anyway, I don't really know what else to say. I'm not very good at this. Reaching up to scratch the back of his head, Willy remained silent. You were just there one day and forced yourself into my life. There were times when you were overbearing and times where you were really worried and even not entirely knowing what exactly I am per se, you never thought of me any different. You reached out to me so many times that I don't really know how you did it, but you did. And when we had to say our goodbyes, the last thing I wanted to do was say goodbye to you in particular. Though hesitation still lingered, Abel's hands fumbled towards Willy's, lacing his fingers with his, looking up to him. I don't want to fill the spot you've created with anyone else's. With a forced smile, Abel's eyes fell back to the ground. Sometimes, sometimes you just need to experience something that holds a special kind of figure that, for even just a moment, stills time and stops the world. Willy, I've been meaning to do this for a while, but I never exactly found the right time for it. I'm sorry.
oh God. As he stood up on his toes, resting a hand against Willie's face, he slowly leaned in closer for something more intimate.
Yet, as his mouth was but a breath away from Willy's, Abel then shot straight up from his bed, a mortified scream fleeing. His chest rapidly expanded and collapsed as he tried to catch his breath, his body drenched in a cold sweat. It was night. It was silent. His shaken eyes darted around in the moment in a panic, taking notice that he was still in a cabin, his cabin specifically. Abel drew in some comfort as he gently patted at the mattress beneath him, slowly sinking his nails down deep and then ripping out a large chunk of its foam. His body trembled, then tensed up as he tried to collect himself.
Thank fuck.
He thought, resting a hand against his throat.
It was all just a dream. Yes, of course it was, but why? Why is this happening? Why did this happen? Why now and why Willy? What? I I don't understand, or do I? Was was someone messing with me?
At the last thought, anger then seized control of him as he threw himself up out of bed and took hold of the desk that rested across the room, slamming it against the ground and breaking it into a handful of pieces. He bore his fangs, let out a snarl, looking for something else he could break, though nothing particularly stood out.
I I need to talk to someone. What do I do? I need to talk to Rose. I can't keep this inside. I don't know what to do anymore. What's wrong with me?
He looked at the bright neon green numbers resting on the alarm clock beside his bed, noticing it was still very early into the night. His shoulders slumped.
Son of a fuck. All right then. I guess this means I'm staying up for the rest of the night. The last thing I want is to drift back into whatever that was.
Abel took his arms, wrapping them around himself, and sat back against his bed, where he would remain until Sandy's morning summoning.
The end.
Oh,
The end.
no! No!
So,
How could this be the end?
So, Juniper, when I said that this was entirely up to Nell if she decided to make it canon or not, that's what I meant.
Fucking monster.
Thus is the life of a writer.
God.
I hold too much power in the form of English.
I love that. No! This is cruel.
It is very cruel, but the funny thing is Nell, Nell, if you are listening to a replay of this, Juniper demands that this be made canon.
Oh man, people are fucking pissed right now.
It's on a big delay.
Oh no. That's
Um,
even
yeah, so when I was writing this, I thought Nell was a cruel writer.
oh my god.
Nell can still one-up me. Nell can be cruel and say that it's not canon if she really wants to. If she really wants that.
And then like kill one of us off the next episode. Like what a horrible person. But hey, you know what? That's her choice.
Nell is ultimately the what did I say? What did I call Nell? Goblin monster?
It's Dice Goblin.
Yeah. She's that too. But yeah, no. So when I was writing this,
I know.
before I got to the I'm glad you know where she is, Juniper, because for legal reasons, Nell won't give me her address. She knows where I live, but she won't give me her address.
I think she knows better. She's heard all the times you said you're gonna come over and break my hands, so she's just like, I'm just not gonna do this.
But yeah, no, when I was writing this before I got to the part, where Abel wakes, Um, Brad specifically said to me, fuck, what was it? It was something along the lines of like, I didn't agree to this.
Oh yeah,
You were like threatening with your lawyer.
I said, cause what happened was Alex was just like, there's a scene that gets a little spicy between fucking Abe and Willie, and I was like, there is. I'm like, I didn't sign off on this. I'm like my, I'm like my lawyer is gonna hear about this shit.
Okay, no one dropped spoilers in chat for Pale Bunny because I want Pale Bunny to equally be as emotionally invested as everyone else. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, so I think that was also too when I was tweet baiting about it when I'd made a tweet uh when I was working on the music store scene and had said, but what if they kissed at the music store? And
Mhm.
that was when Brad was like, hey, wait a second. And I'm like, Brad, do I need to explain to you about tweet baiting?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm
You
like, I
he
literally
immediately he immediately got my ass. Like within seconds of me seeing that shit, I like fucking screenshot it and then sent it to Alex, and I'm like, "The fuck is this?" Like,
I'm sorry, Pale Bunny. I'm sorry. But yeah, no, so I was like, Brad, I literally read to you the music store scene, and there is literally nothing about that in
and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know though. Maybe you fucking you added in something later on. I don't know. Like, that's why I'm like, I didn't sign off on this." Not that it would have been a problem. I just was like, I wish I was consulted.
you might have you don't have Willie's consent in this writing because you didn't ask me first.
That's yeah, yeah, yeah.
There was also another part too when I had like my notes all wrote up too, and I had specifically told Brad um I felt fucking awful for when I wrote Willie's disappointment of Abe asking him to pick another album when he declined the Queen album. I'm like, I am
Ooh,
emotionally hurt at this, and this is not okay.
I think the best part about that is that you told me about it, and it was like, it wasn't a scene that like I was like I gave a whole lot of like input on. It was just one of the ones that you wrote, and I remember just thinking to myself, I'm like, what's going on over there? Like he's, you're like, dude, I'm fucking destroyed over here hurting Willie, and I'm like. I just thought it was so fucking funny. Something about it was just really funny. Just listening to, I think no, I think you were writing it actually out. You were texting me about it, and I'm like, what's going on over there?
Writing an emotionally hurt Willie is fucking god awful because Willie is the person who puts a lot of thought into things that he gives to his friends or people who are important to him. So for Abel to have declined the Queen album that has You're My Best Friend on it,
Yeah,
that really fucking hurt
yeah,
bad. And I was like,
yeah.
I was like, I feel like I made Abel a villain at that point is what it felt like.
Immediately, everyone turns against Ape.
Douchebag Abel declining Willie's Queen album.
They're like, how fucking dare you? Like, but yeah, no, man. I mean, like, there's so many little parts in this that cracked me up, and and the best part about it, I think, was that the majority of the things that Willie had said were just like random things. Either I had voiced as Willie to Alex in like fucking audios, or just random shit that I said.
The lipsticks thing fucking sent me so bad. I was like, oh my god, I am putting that in there. That was
I
one of the
le-
self-inserted things.
Yeah, I don't know why I even said that, but I was like, we were talking and like, because you were having really a hard time with like the music store scene area and stuff, and I remember we were kind of talking about that, but then I think we got to talking about just like random shit, and then I was just like, I just started talking about lipstick dicks and shit. And I'm like, isn't that like how? And I started voicing it as Willie, and I'm like, isn't that like what dogs have? Is that what you have, Abe?
Yeah, I had an audio where it was just like, is is your because I was trying to also figure out how to like self-insert a dick joke in there because I mean, who doesn't laugh at those, right?
I mean, come on. I mean, there has to be a dick joke.
And there has to be a dick joke, especially if it's Willie and Abe involved because of fucking shenanigans. But
Oh, what
um,
about? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm like I still. There's one other scene I definitely want to talk about.
okay, but I remember that you just had brought it up, and you're just like, is your dick like that thing of lipstick? And I just fucking lost my shit at that.
Oh God. Like, are you saying, June? Are you saying you don't understand what the lipstick dick means? If it's well,
Please don't get
um,
my channel banned.
I'm like, do I explain it? Like, it's if you look at yeah, there
Yeah,
you go, there you go. I'm like, let me go on here. It's a dick joke. So, all right, we saved it then. We don't have to do that.
the dots connected. That's all that matters.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, that's what was going through Willard's head at the time. He was just like, "Huh, I wonder if it's like that. I'm curious."
Oh boy, so curious. What was the scene you wanted to talk about?
Oh God, the fucking scene where Willie's eating the sandwich and he just squirts fucking mayo everywhere. Apparently, he like covers the whole fucking table.
The boy like it with extra.
Yeah, it was such an intense amount of mayo on that sandwich that not only did he get it all over himself, but he shot it out and hit Abe in the face.
It was just so funny. I'm like, you know what? Nah, I gotta do this because it's funny.
Yeah, I think that was one of your scenes that you wrote. Like,
Yeah, it was.
yeah, that was like I don't think I had a part in that at all. So, like I remember when we did the test reading for this back like last month,
Yeah, it was the
and
week after I finished it.
yeah, and we read it, and I remember getting to that fucking part and just being like, "Oh my god." And then him saying he's got white stuff all over his face. It's it was bad, but it was fun.
Oh, it was just so fucking funny. Because, I mean, fuck, what was it that I said? Like, when the two of them are together, it seems like not only do gay implications happen,
Yeah,
quote unquote gay implications, but also
sure.
it's fucking chaos. Like it's just a fucking fire. It's a dumpster fire at that point.
Oh my god. Yeah,
It's
I mean
great.
that's the best way to put it. I mean, like there is probably no better way to put that. It and the worst part about it is like not only is it like a dumpster fire, but there's someone that's nearby that's pouring gasoline into it. Like it just keeps getting worse and worse until like Abe has to like snap it off and be like, "All right, we got to get the fuck out of here."
It provided he's able to like gather himself because boy so vanilla.
Well, and not only that, I mean, it's just like he's just being assaulted. You know what I mean? Like he's just being destroyed with all this weird shit that Willie is saying. So it makes sense why he's having such a hard time, you know, uh, trying to use the brain cell he has left.
Yeah, Abel might be doing well at school, but when he's with Willie, the two of them have one fucking brain cell. It's true.
Oh God.
I mean,
Yeah.
as if no one noticed that while or during the campaigns. Like they're a fucking couple of idiots.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it really there really isn't a time where the two of them are like, oh yeah, we have like a good thought, you know. It's just like
Rose's idiot nights, as Nell put it.
yes, yes, actually, yes.
There was another scene too that I wanted to talk about too, because it was one that you actually gave me the idea on, and I was like, fuck, how am I going to weave this in?
Mm.
So, when Abel's staring at an album with Godzilla on it, I just want y'all to know the name of that song is called Skibbity,
Skibbity.
and it was on Brad's playlist. Brad has a mood board for Willy, and it was on there, and I was like, okay. And he's like, yeah, it's a song that, Willy thinks about with Abe, or he thinks of Abe, anyways. And there's a
Hmm.
part where dogs just start barking, and I was like, what the fuck am I even listening to? It's a great song, by the way, if you look
Yeah,
up Skibbity the Romantic Edition. But
yeah.
the original one's nice too, but I fancy the Romantic Edition more.
It's got a better beat to it, and just like it's like a better song overall. When the other one's kind of just more like a parody video, like it seems like, you know. But then again, the romantic edition video is it's something.
It is definitely something, and
Uh,
I was just like, okay. Brad's like, I want this in there, and he sends me an audio, which is the one that I listened to like 20 plus times trying to fucking write it out,
mhm.
where he's like, are what are they saying? It's like, Jesus fucking Christ.
I just always want to know what they were saying. That's all.
So,
I think that's the best part is like this song that you would listen to and stuff. It was really funny because like you had told me that you listened to it. You're like this is fucking silly as shit, and I'm like, well, here, let's watch the video together.
Willie probably has shown Abel the dog ending from Silent Hill too.
Yeah, he wants to know if the dog is actually evil or not. He's the dog. Yeah, yeah.
Don't forget to use the hashtag Juniper. Or
Please
post
do.
it in the Discord, because Jesus Christ, I gotta see it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think as much of a joke as it is that Willie believes that Abe is a dog man, I think it's gotten to the point now that if even if it was like unequivocally proven false, that it was like, yeah, he's of course not a dog guy. Yeah, Willie wouldn't believe it.
Oh,
He would just say, no, no, you're a dog man.
of course. Of course. Hello, nice guy. Hello, hello. Yeah,
Hello.
no, hands down, Willie just has it in his mind that Abe is hands down a dog man and a distant relative of the Michigan dog man.
It's very true. It's very true.
Like,
They share very similar similarities. They're
Abe,
dogs and men.
Abel made the mistake of using his wolf power, and now Willie's just convinced forever. No one can tell him otherwise. Just like the joke about Chris Pratt, where Willie's like, "No, I'm pretty sure his
No,
name's Crispy Rat, Abe."
no, no. I think that's like there are a lot of good scenes that like there were so many times where Alex was telling me, he's like, hey, how does this sound like for Willie? And I'm just like, no, that sounds exactly what he would do. Like like as many scenes as there was where I like, like where he ended up like transcribing some of the audios that I put in there and stuff. It was there was a lot of scenes where I was just like, oh no, this is fucking perfect. Yeah, no. This is fantastic. And then we just would like edit it a little bit for the read. But otherwise it was like I'm like, it's like you know the character better than I do.
Willie be like, I think you're lying, Abe. I think you're trying to bullshit me.
I don't believe in vampires, Abe. I already told you they're not real.
You said it yourself. Vampires aren't real.
Yeah, he did say that.
He's like, listen, man, vampires aren't real, okay? Like everyone knows that.
And then there's Michael in the background having a fucking aneurysm.
It's like, listen, all right, I know what my friend is, all right. He's a dogman.
He's got Chad fucking second guessing himself.
Oh yeah, I think that would be the ultimate goal, right? That Willie is somehow even able to convince the others that Abel is not a vampire. Like, like his power of persuasions. They're like, well,
You'd have to
maybe he's
roll
not.
pretty high on that one.
I think with enough convincing, Willie's got charm.
One of my favorite parts too was I was originally going to have Willie say that the locker scene where he's just somehow managed to stop himself in the locker.
You were so happy about this scene. You were so fucking happy about it. Like,
I just foresee it happening, and I'm like, no one can convince me otherwise that this wouldn't happen to Willie. He would just magically get sucked into a fucking locker.
well, and the best part about it was is that it was random. You messaged me, you're like, I feel like Willie would get stuck in a locker
He
somehow.
would. I
I'm
can't
like,
be
what the
convinced.
fuck? I'm like, what are you talking about? Where is this coming from?
I can't be convinced otherwise that it would not happen mechanically.
I'm like, yeah, I could see it too, but wait, what is the context? And you're just like, yeah, I think it. I'm like, you're not gonna tell me? It was fucking insane.
Originally, because we know that Willie is a weeb, I was like, oh yeah, he's probably, read Junji Ito, and I'm sure he knows what Amigara fault is, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna change it to Amaguchi fault. And Brad's like, I can't believe you're gonna make me read that.
Yeah.
I was like, well,
Yeah.
I have to read Farms and Peasants, so.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the names that I helped, like, make up and shit, and like, especially, with that fucking bullshit, you're like, yeah, you're gonna get to say all of them, and I'm like, man, like, how kind of you.
Just picture the locker has the magical Gucci symbol, the double G's on it, and Amaguchi fault.
What if he would have fallen deeper into the locker and the story changed?
Well, at that point, Abel would be going on a quest to fucking Narnia to try to fucking find Willie.
He gets taken by the White Witch. She likes him for some reason.
Who doesn't like Willie?
Yeah.
People who are wrong.
People who are wrong.
Willie is a good boy.
Blasphemers. That's who.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I could totally see it. Like fucking Abe is like riding Aslan into battle to get Willie back.
I know what you said, but I'm not gonna lie, I heard you say Assland, and I'm like, who the fuck is Assland, and why is Abel writing it?
Yeah, he's gonna get who is Aslan? He's
Assland.
that's his new mount, Assland. Oh my god, the meme is fucking perfect, Jin. I love it.
I love it, Juniper. I love it so fucking much.
Really, any effing dog? Is this Abel?
I mean, he doesn't know.
I think it's a fair question.
It is an absolute fair question.
Can you remind everybody again what Abe's like wolf form looks like again?
So Abel's wolf form is kind of like a dire wolf, but what I based it on are the wolf mounts from Ragnarok Online, which are actually big enough for people to ride. But obviously because his hair is black, the wolf has black fur. And he has obviously the green eyes.
Yeah, and I think we've only seen it a couple times, right? I think
Yeah.
we've only seen it like once or twice so far. So yeah, I mean, like I think Willie is definitely of the mind that it's entirely possible that Abe can turn into this dog. What? Oh, who's to say he can't turn into like a cocker spaniel?
Oh god. Fucking Maya comes back to visit and she's got a tiny little Pomeranian and Willie doesn't see Abe around. He's like, is this Abe?
Abe, is that you?
Be like, when did you? And he just starts talking to the Pomeranian, and Maya's just like, excuse you. He's like, but
He's just,
no, this is my friend.
no, this is my best friend. Do you want anything?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I could see it. I could see it happening. Oh man. Well, I mean, there's I don't know. Was there anything that anybody in the audience had like questions about, or are they just pissed? Which I can understand if that's the case.
That was ultimately my goal, was to just piss everyone off.
Yeah, yeah. You actually said that like beforehand. Like, I think almost like verbatim. You're like, yeah, because like like remember when we did the test reading and I read the ending.
Yeah, I didn't read you the ending, so you didn't know what was gonna happen.
No, no, he that was the worst part is that how it was going, like, how we swapped off and shit. He was like, "Yeah, you get to read the ending." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting." And then as soon as I got to that part, I was like, what was it? Like in the middle is like as I'm reading it out loud, I go, "No,
Yeah, you're like, no!
no!"
And it's like,
I was fucking
yes, I feel satisfied.
You're like, I have one. Now, eventually there'll be many.
My 6 weeks of obsessive writing and fucking fighting writer's block has paid off.
I mean, yeah, I think just with that reaction alone and just the reaction we had in the chat a little bit. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
one's a Capri Sun. Uh, you did get here late, Nell. You missed us talking shit about you,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess you're just gonna have to wait for the recap.
Yeah. It's better
Juniper's
be canon.
Juniper's hands down wants this to be canon, so you're gonna have to listen to it and make that decision.
Yeah, I mean, with the amount of times that Alex says he's going to break my hands, I fear what may happen to you, you know.
I'll get you the VOD, don't you worry about it.
I love that. She just glosses over the part like we were talking shit about you. She's like,
Nothing
yeah, whatever.
surprises now.
You're like, that's fine. I don't
Oh,
we don't have the power to make it canon. That's up to you, man.
Nell's talking about something different.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah.
The
No,
players
I know what
control.
Nell's talking about. It just requires Willy to not be oblivious and Abe to not pass out.
Wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly that.
I mean, you're asking for a lot. All right.
I'm not
You're
asking for anything.
I didn't say you specifically. I just meant everyone in general.
I don't think so. I think Juniper's request is very reasonable. She just wants. I'm sorry, they just want gay fluff.
Well, I mean, yeah, no. If they're asking for this particular thing to be canon, yeah, yeah, that's totally fine. But
Oh
I
no,
went more.
they're talking about canon too, like
Yeah.
in the campaign.
Well,
Yeah, boy. Oh my God, you had to read
yeah,
that
boy.
part too. That was the best part.
Yeah, boy.
I killed Brad with that, by the way. Fun
Yeah.
fact. So Nell's missed it, but there was a part in the story where with the yeah boy meme.
Yeah, boy.
When we were doing the test reading, I didn't tell Brad about that part. And when he read it, he died for a solid 10 minutes at least.
I couldn't keep going. Like I think he was even like, a few minutes even afterwards when we were reading on, I was still cracking up about it. I couldn't believe it.
That was like my best accomplishment, was killing Brad at that point.
Oh man, and the hardest part about this entire read was not laughing at the majority of the shit that you had me say.
Yes.
I was like, I gotta survive this. I gotta say vagina and not crack up.
Vagina house. Yeah. So it's funny because when I write it, I'll laugh, especially at really awful shit. But then when I read it, it's like, no, I want to make sure that my readers or listeners are going to be losing their shit at this too. Exactly,
Right.
Nell. You missed an entire conversation about Tarjay and Fajita House, and
Yeah, yeah. There's actually a lot you missed out.
yeah, you missed a
Definitely,
lot.
definitely check out the VOD. I blue screened for a little bit.
No,
That was
what are we going back on? No.
yeah, yeah. We'll be talking about yeah. We're on a delay, dog.
Nell just fucking jumps in the Discord call. Listen here, you little shit.
You know, there's actually there's a joke that Alex put in there
You told
just
me to
for
put it
you.
in there.
Well,
You were
that's
like, how
true.
funny would it be to make a Nell reference? And I was like, all right.
I I actually what I really wanted to do is I wanted to have her actually come in and read the lines for the NPCs as well, which is just the shop owner, you know, and or the like the person at the fucking register. I really wanted her to come in and see that, so that way she would have been here the entire time and got to hear it.
Nell and the most Michael voice ever. How can I help you? I hate life.
The poor guy. He hates everything.
Maybe I'll have to maybe I'll have to write something else post Camp Boo-lieve and just have everyone come in and do a reading for that. That would be fun.
Yeah, like have everybody do a little bit of something. It's a lot of fun. I mean, uh first time I think we did it, it was just like I was like a little nervous and shit, but this was really fucking fun, honestly. See? Yeah. See, she's for it. You know what
I
that means?
so I was in kind of a bit of a dry spout until Nell was like, "Hey, can't believe stuff," and now we're like in this campaign. So that really sparked a lot of creativity and inspiration because now I'm bouncing ideas off of people and it's just pushing me to create more. Might
Yeah.
not be the last of the characters. I'm fine with that. I said it on the last reading that I did with Brad, but I have a joke. Nell took inspiration at 2 a.m. and said, "But what if movie demon?" We all know
Yeah,
this because it was in the Q&A.
that's very true. That's very true.
And look what it spawned.
No,
But
I think oh, go ahead.
oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, but I think even she's been uh, surprised at what this little idea that she just had at 2 a.m. Has spawned into more so, you know, like, you know, obviously like the whole like campaign itself that she's been able to come up with, which has been, you know, fucking awesome, but also what you know, what the three of us have tried to do with it, you know, and I think that's probably been the coolest part about all this is kind of seeing like her reaction to us doing shit.
2 a.m. thoughts are the best,
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
especially when you're sleep deprived and overcaffeinated.
oh, well, I mean, we already know that's her life.
Um, fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say now.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So oh, I remember what it was. During one of the last readings that I did, which was, "Hey Nell, I'm looking at you through your window." Anyway,
Ah!
um,
Yeah, thank God he's at yours and not mine.
but
He's always staring in.
I'd said in the last reading that I did that I had offhandedly spawned a kind of funny joke where the parody of Willy just continuing a almost really awful, not quite Scooby-Doo thing,
Mm,
but almost like a monster slaying mystery, like, oh, monsters are appearing in town, and hi, my name is Willy Nakamura, and just some basic anime opening of
Yeah.
Willy just carrying on with life, but suddenly it's not. I mean, it's never been right, but just he gets Rose and Abel back together, and suddenly they're, you know, killing monsters in town, and
He's like running out of his place with like a piece of toast in his mouth.
absolutely.
Turns into like a fucking
We did make a Jackass reference now, but you'll have to go back and listen to it when I send you the VOD.
It's actually really funny. You mentioned that.
Speaking of Jackass.
Ugh. But yeah, no, I figured it'd be really funny to make like a quote unquote like magical girl anime with fucking Willy. Essentially.
Willy would be very happy.
Yeah, I think you would love it, especially if he's able to transform into something like awesome and like have a cool outfit. Yeah, no.
His outfit would be Ichiban's from Yakuza.
Oh yeah, it'd either be that or like something like very similar to Ryuji's like form when he's like in when he's able to summon his persona and shit. Like the fucking black leather
Oh
shit.
god, Willy would shit himself. He'd be like, dude, this is
Yeah,
so fucking cool.
you're fucking right, he would. It's got the baseball bat and everything. It's like, oh fuck. It'd be sick as shit, dude.
Give Willy a mini.
First off, I never said that was not an option. It might not be something he would initially pick, but at first he'd just be like, "What the fuck?"
Watch Shy just breathe this into existence.
Willie wear mini skirt. Willie Gate. This is yeah, no, I mean if there's any in it at all people that want to do fan art of Willard and the gang maybe in sailor outfits. Sailor Scout outfits. I think that'd be funny.
What Sailor Scout do you think Willy would be? Because Abel would definitely be Mars.
Yeah, immediately as soon as you said Abel, I'm like Mars.
Mars.
Yeah, it's just Mars in general. I think he would have to be probably. Ooh, he'd either be Mercury or Venus. I
Hmm.
think I think either one of those two would work out perfectly because I could see Willie wearing like orange. You know what I mean?
I think Willy would wear orange. Pictures Mercury, who's all blue.
Well, that's what I was saying is Venus, but but the main reason why I thought of Mercury was because of like they're kind of like well, that's the problem too is that he would be a lot like Usagi too because like she's very much like into like video games and shit and she's like
Oh
at the fucking
yeah.
arcade and stuff. So maybe yeah, you know what? He might actually wear the typical Sailor Moon attire.
And then Rose is obviously Jupiter.
That's yeah, of course. She would pick that regardless of what the character is like.
It's got Rose's color scheme.
I might need a commission. Jesus Christ. God. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, what you could do is that you can give Willie like the like how she like Sailor Moon has like the fucking like intense ass like hair pieces that come off her on the sides of her head. You could do something similar to that with him, and he has like like the bat on his shoulder, right? He's holding it, and then he's got Winston out as a shield.
Oh my god.
It's just
Winston as Luna.
oh my god, yes. Why did I immediately think of just like a cat body, but with a Winston's beetle head? the, mon-
Horrifying.
the monstrosity. Oh god. Yeah.
That
Oh
thought is
god.
going to just live in my head. I'm gonna look at Getty and I'm gonna see like a fucking beetle face and I'm gonna be like,
He's just gonna put his little paws up and start rolling a little bit of dung.
no, he's gonna fucking start screaming at me and I'm just gonna be like, I'm living a nightmare.
Screams and Beetle.
Screams and Beetle.
What a fucking nightmare this has turned into.
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
We have nightmare fuel ready to go.
Hell yeah. 2 a.m. nightmare thoughts. Let's go.
Jesus fucking
Just
Christ.
kidding. It's not 2 a.m. yet.
I looked at the clock when you said that. I was like, what? I'm like, please God, no.
I mean, you'd be fucked. No, not so much.
Nah, that's fair. Wait, well, yeah,
No.
no, probably not.
No.
No,
No.
she sleeps that late anyway. It's all great. It turns into monstrosities at one point. Is that what you're talking about?
I mean, everything's monstrous if you look at it the wrong way.
Mm, mm, I don't know. I mean, like, I can agree with that, but what I just described as Winston as fucking half cat. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that.
I mean, why not?
I mean, we could easily pitch that to Shy and see what she says. You know, speaking of that, you know, Shy's not here right now. Everybody can we get a thank you, Shy, in the chat?
Juniper was already on that, but yes,
Yeah,
thank you, Shy,
yeah.
for existing.
Oh, I didn't even see Juniper do that. All right, you know what?
Yeah.
You're fucking ahead of the game. Goddamn, dude. Good shit.
Yeah.
Hashtag thank you, Shy.
That just starts trending on Twitter, and Shy just gets back to her phone. She's like, I don't know what's going on.
She's like, is this about me? Why has this become a thing? Why is this a thing now?
Just can't believe shenanigans.
I need like a fucking bumper sticker.
Oh my
Just saying,
god!
saying thank you, Shy.
Commission Shy to make a thank you Shy bumper sticker so that we can just all put it on our car. No one in our shitty ass town knows the context of
No,
it.
no, no. I think it'd be really funny that we commission Shy to do the meme for us. Like,
It has
like
to be bubbly pink anime letters.
yeah, that's fair.
Why don't we have bumper stickers now? You're the one in
Dude,
charge of the shop.
yeah, you're the one that has to do that shit, man. Get on that. Get Shy to do another commission on top of the one that you just gave her.
There was another one? Oh, the Sailor Moon one, right.
Mhm.
Right. I didn't see that.
Entirely fair. I
I
see.
see it now. I see it now.
Yeah, yeah.
Willie might be too powerful in a skirt. Yeah, no, I agree because Abel would die.
Yeah, it depends on how short it is. It really depends. And in that anime, man, it can be short. Also, especially like, do they do the same transformations? Like the transformation scenes, you know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely. It's like when they did a mock-up of that. So one of my favorite movies that recently came out, and by recently I mean I think it was like 2016, but it was
Yeah.
the Scooby-Doo meets Kiss.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
If you haven't seen that, it is fucking fantastic.
Right?
In the most cringy way possible.
Um,
So
I have so many questions.
no, it
Go
I
on.
highly recommend it because when they go to transform from their street people uniforms into their band attire, they all do Sailor Moon transformations.
No.
And it is the best thing ever.
That is insane. I can't even believe that. They're like, yeah, dude, let's do a magical girl fucking thing for for us. That is fucking awesome.
Well, it's funny because Daphne's like fucking losing her shit over it because she's like, oh my god, I love Kiss. And Fred's just like, I don't see what's so great about him. And then he's like, I could do that too.
Oh my god. Do they attempt to have Fred do a transformation scene?
They don't, but
Ah,
it's a really funny movie and probably one of my favorite Scooby-Doo parodies that's recently come out.
that's so weird. I didn't even know there was a Scooby Doo meets Kiss fucking thing. Like I remember seeing like they did one of like
Scooby Doo meets like John Cena or
Which was
something like that.
that one was pretty okay, but this one came out after it.
How have you seen all of these?
Because
I didn't.
my dad collects Scooby-Doo movies.
Okay.
That's his jam. That was
I'm like, I was like, what the fuck? How are you seeing every one of these?
because, you just run out of things to get my dad because he either
Ugh.
doesn't utilize it and collects dust or he watches it once. But
It's fucking killing me, dude.
anytime a new Scooby-Doo parody comes out, we always get it for him. We're like, yeah, let's sit down and watch it. And yeah.
I mean, that that's funny as fuck. Like, okay, all
How have you
right. So
seen all these? How have you not, Brad?
Alex is very cultured, apparently. I'm like, I
No.
remember, I remember the old Scooby Doo movies. You know, like
Oh
that was
yeah.
what I like. That was my jam. Like Scooby Doo, like Zombie Island and
That gave
shit.
me
And
nightmares for a while.
it was really well done. The
Oh
animation was
yeah,
great. You know,
absolutely. And then
they actually,
the Hex Girls.
yep, Hex Girls. That's what is that?
That was like the
The
second
Witch's
or third
Ghost.
movie. No, that was the
Yeah.
third movie I thought because I thought the second one was Cyber Chase.
Oh yeah, Cyber Chase. I forgot about that. That was when that was shit was coming out when that one show, the other What's New Scooby Doo was coming out, right?
Yeah, and that
And
one wasn't awful.
they had Simple Plan do the fucking main theme, dude. That shit was awesome. You kidding me? My fucking like I was like 12 or something or some shit when that shit came out, and I'm like, oh my god, that's Simple Plan. Let's go.
Let's fucking go.
Oh, I was losing my shit. Like
Planning simply.
oh, God, I hate it now.
You're welcome. I exist to ruin things for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Hex Girls, dude. Yeah. Yeah, Witch's Ghost. And oh, Legend of the Vampire. Which one was that?
I agree, Juniper. I agree.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the Hex Girls were.
They definitely reminded me I was bi.
Yeah, they definitely like as a child. I'm like, this is awakening something. It's like something in me.
It's an
Like,
awakening.
like I don't know. Is this an awakening? I'm like, what is this about? What is this about goth ladies? I'm into this.
I remember Legend of the Vampire came out later on because I remember every Scooby-Doo movie they came out with. I'm like, okay, so when are you guys gonna bring back the Hex Girls? Like, I gotta see the gals.
Yeah, it's really weird that
There
they
was
held on
also
for so long.
another really good one that came out. At least I thought it was good, was the one with the aliens.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that one too.
That one was
Yeah.
like fucking weird because just like shit
Shaggy was
like
gonna get with that one alien dude.
yeah,
Or lady,
Shaggy and
like,
Scooby were all set to hook up with the alien chick and alien dog
hell
and
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, she was hot.
She was fucking perfect for him.
Yeah, dude. I mean, she was hot, man. I liked her. Like, I feel kind of bad for the boy, but I first off, I had never seen this Legend of the Vampire one.
You should. It's really fucking good, and I'm really happy that they brought back the Hex Girls. That's the one I think where they try getting Velma to, or not Velma, Daphne to join the band and like sing with them and stuff.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, yep, nope, I remember that one. That
They're playing craps.
what?
I'm looking on IMDb and I'm looking at like seeds from like the movie and shit. So and there's just a scene where Fred and fucking Velma are playing craps.
Oh, I guess.
I'm like, what the fuck is this? Oh yeah, the whole gang's in a fucking they're doing a band and Velma's singing. What the hell?
Another one too was I think the one where they go to, is it Scotland?
Scotland.
There's one where they go to a castle and there's like something with like Lake Loch Ness or whatever.
Oh yeah. I know this one that you're talking about. I'm familiar with that one.
Yeah,
I
that one was
don't.
pretty good too.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I always go back to fucking Zombie Island and Witch's Ghost.
Obviously, that shit was awesome. And you know what's really funny is that I don't remember there being a lot of people that watched this back in the day, but like they had like the Ghoul School one.
I do love the Ghoul School,
Yeah,
and I
that shit
wish
was
that they
fucking
would do a
awesome.
sequel to that one.
Yes, I would be fucking down.
Scooby-Doo and the
And
Vampire Eurovision. Sorry, it wasn't funny, but it was just in my brain.
I hate it, but I love the idea. I could see it happening. But then they also did that one little show where it was the 13 Ghosts of Scooby Doo, and then like they had the other one where it was
With
like
Vincent Price, who's clearly not voicing
yeah,
Vincent Price, yeah.
yeah. I love that one. That
And
and
Flim
then
Flam.
yes. Oh my god, dude, wow, this is fucking nostalgia here. That and Scooby Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf when
That
Shaggy
one was a
turned
good
into
one,
a
too.
werewolf. Yeah, he had that one fucking girlfriend. What the hell was her name?
Oh, I don't fucking remember.
She's a blonde lady. Like I don't fucking remember. But yeah, I like how this entire like read for fucking Abe and Willie turned into a Scooby Doo thing. Like we're just going down Scooby Doo lane.
I mean, Can't Believe's kind of along the borderline of Scooby-Doo.
I mean, it's pretty close. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, dude, Ghoul School is so fucking awesome, man. I remember watching this shit like on repeat for some reason as a kid.
I always got excited as a kid for Halloween because Cartoon Network always showed like the Ghoul School every
Mhm,
October, and I was
mhm.
fucking down for that shit.
Dude, they had they would have that shit, and then you have all the other Scooby Doo fucking movies on there. You
Oh
got
yeah,
Zombie Island slash like,
the
you know,
Reluctant
Ghoul School.
Werewolf.
Yup, all of that shit. And then like of course they had to move it. They moved all that shit over to like fucking Boomerang after a little bit of time, but even
Yeah.
still, I would still just get cable just to watch that, you know. Oh yeah, it was just wacky races actually.
You know what almost upsets me too?
Hmm.
Did you know that there was a sequel to Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island?
I had heard about it, and I heard it was horrible.
Apparently, I don't know if this has changed since, but I remember when I found out it was an Amazon exclusive.
Oh no, well you already know that's a problem then if that's
Because
the
you could
case.
only stream it off of Amazon, but you had to rent it, and I thought it was the biggest crock of shit ever.
Hmm. See, yeah, again, I heard it's not that great, but also, like, I heard because the animation in Zombie Island was so great and like Witch's Ghost like throughout that period of time because it was actually done by supposedly from what I heard it was like a Japanese studio.
Wait, which one? Zombie Island? Not
Zombie Island.
surprised. I'm not
That's why
surprised.
that's why it just looks so fucking fluid, dude. Like when you see like the zombies like walking around and shit, and like even the gang just like just standing there and like doing stuff. It just I don't know. Like that was one of the movies I remember watching as a kid where I was like, oh my god, I'm terrified. But like that was where I was like, oh my god, I appreciate the shit out of this for some reason.
Terror Time fucking slapped.
Plus, it had good music too.
It did. It really
Mm,
did.
I love the fucking what is it? It's terror time again. Yeah, I'm about to listen to it. Yep, there it is, right there. Let's go, baby.
Everyone's just.
Full studio version. All right, fuck
Wait,
it.
what?
Yeah, there's a full studio version. It's 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
I can't say I'm surprised. That shit slaps.
God.
I know that there's a few movies though that we are missing. There was a new one that came out like a year or two back too, where Scooby-Doo meets Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Yeah, I seen that and I thought that was the weirdest shit ever.
It was unofficial, only in I mean, all the Scooby-Doo crossovers are unofficial.
Right.
But it was unofficial in the sense that the guy who is the creator of Courage the Cowardly Dog didn't know about it.
Wait, what? He didn't know it was happening?
Yeah, he didn't know about it until it was announced, which was funny because the announcement was out
What?
of nowhere, and the title of it is literally called Scooby-Doo Out of Nowhere.
Okay. Well, So wait. So did the guy did they get paid for that for using that character property or what?
Um,
Or, or just get it? Did he just get a check like a week later, and be like, "Hey, dude, we used your shit and made an entire movie out of it."
I didn't look that deep into it, but I just remember the guy said something on Twitter like he had no idea about it.
That's hilarious. How the
Yeah.
fuck did they get away with that?
Uh, Great question.
What company even made?
I guess Nell says he doesn't own it, so that's probably why.
Oh, he doesn't own it.
He just
Oh, like
created it.
is it just because it's a Cartoon Network property?
I don't know. Probably. I remember back in the day, there was Cartoon Network used to do like these things where they would say, okay, well, we're gonna do like a pilot for animation trailers, and if we like it, we'll turn your thing into a TV show. And I remember
Yeah.
Courage was one that won that pilot at the time.
Interesting. Okay.
That's so
That's
heartbreaking to hear that he doesn't get anything for it because I fucking love Courage.
what? I didn't even realize that. Huh. That's insane.
Also, another funny crossover is when Scooby-Doo meets Supernatural.
Oh yeah, I did see that shit. Like I didn't see the movie, but I did see that.
I stopped
Why?
everything I was doing just so I could watch it because I knew every instance they were gonna fucking be breaking the fourth wall.
Oh my god. That's that that is batshit crazy. Was it good?
I thought it was okay. Yeah. I
Okay.
liked it. I liked it and it fitted for everything that it needed to be. Like Nell says, it was really silly shit.
I would imagine so. It has to be.
Fred tries fucking racing them. His van
What?
versus the car.
Why?
Because he's Fred and he feels threatened because fucking
Jesus
Velma is
Christ.
falling for Dean, I think.
Well, I mean that's fair though. Okay, that's
Pretty
fair.
sure it was Dean.
Yeah, that the Scooby Doo meets Courage is already out, supposedly.
Is
I
it on
think,
DVD?
yeah.
Because I'm fucking buying that shit.
Oh, I don't know. Let me
Oh,
see.
I know it's out, but I don't know if they put it on DVD yet or not.
Oh, it came out. Oh wow, it actually came out pretty recently too. It came out in September.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
Literally.
Literally
Straight
out of
out of
nowhere.
nowhere. Straight out of nowhere, Scooby Doo meets Kurt's a Cowardly Dog. And that's actually interesting too because I think the lady who played
Muriel died.
Muriel yeah, she passed away recently.
Yeah, that was really sad.
Oh man. Yeah, it says that oh yep, she voiced in it too. But the guy who played his Eustace actually passed away um a while ago. Pretty long time ago, so they had a different voice for him.
Ain't getting out of my chair.
Yeah, we ain't got time for that.
God,
I ain't getting out of my chair.
I fucking remember just Eustace in general fucking ruined so many horror movies for me. Like, uh, fuck, what's that one series?
What's that?
Trying to think.
Ooga booga booga.
Ooga booga booga!
I
The Conjuring series.
Oh, okay.
The
'Cause
second
the old
one.
guy?
Well, no. And the second, I think it's the second movie. It might be the third one. It's the one with fuck, what's the guy's name? The tall slinky dude.
Tall, slinky dude. In the actual movie itself, or
The Crooked Man. It's the movie with the Crooked Man.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's The Conjuring 2. So I was right
Mhm.
about that. But
Yeah.
so there's a scene where someone says that they're not getting out of their chair or whatever, and I fucking thought of Eustace and I start losing my shit in the theater.
Yeah, there's actually like that. It's like that old man ghost that's
Yeah.
in there,
Yeah.
and he's literally in his fucking chair the entire. Yeah, no, that's definitely just like they parodied Eustace. There's no if ands or buts about that.
And then my friend who's next to me, she's just like, "Why are you laughing?" I'm like,
You're like blah blah blah.
"Stupid dog makes me look bad."
Oh yeah. Yeah, dude, I'd be totally be down to just do like a cartoon podcast or just get on and just talk about just like a random topic like this.
I mean,
You know, like
I wasn't intending on like fucking 40 hours of just like, "Oh yeah, man, Scooby Doo dog."
I mean, who gives a shit? Why not, right? It's perfect. I mean,
Oh, we were talking about something that Nell said. Yeah, no, fuck, I'd be down for like a podcast.
yeah. We just get on and just like talk about like random shit and like talk about like just shows and like just random nostalgia bullshit in general.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much everything that we do.
Well, yeah, when you put it like that, yeah, that's true. But yeah, no, I mean, I think just like talking about like the random facts about like old Scooby Doo slash like cartoon properties, another like like one of the things I always remember like wanting to like talk about with people, but I really never had anybody to do it with was like the ending of like Ed, Edd and Eddie.
I don't
And
remember the ending to it, but I fucking loved watching that show.
oh, it's so good. Like they actually the ending they did for it, like they did like one like big episode slash like movie where basically like the Ed boys end up they end up pushing things a little too far with one of their scams, and the only way that they're going to be able to get the hell out is so that the way they can go they're going to see Eddie's brother and take have him help them out and shit like that, and it's like a big like travel to go and see Eddie's brother, and it was just like oh man, it was so fucking good.
I feel like
It
I
like
missed out, and I'm going to have to fucking scour the internet to find this because you and James are just talking about this, and I'm like,
oh
I
yeah.
don't remember this.
Yeah, dude, James knows what's fucking up, man. Yeah, it's just it's a good way to end the series off because there's a lot of times where like the shows just kind of just end all of a sudden, or just have like an episode that's just like a standard episode, and then it just ends, you know. And
Yeah,
but
kind of like what they did with my reboot of fucking Thundercats that actually was really good.
oh, isn't that the one with that was like kind of like more like on like an anime style, right? Or like
Yeah,
yeah,
it was. It was more anime and it was really fucking awesome. And they canceled it because quote unquote
Oh man,
poor viewer ratings. And it's like, well, look at what time you fucking have the show slated at.
what time did they have the show slated at?
It was literally like 7:38, which was to me it's
What?
not a bad time, but
Okay, yeah. I mean, like that's like, at night, right?
yeah, no, it
Okay.
was at night because I used to watch it every night and it was really good.
Yeah, I mean, like, like I actually I didn't watch that originally, but I did remember that Will Friedle, the guy who played as Eric Matthews in Boy Meets World, voiced as Lion-O in that show, and I really wanted to watch it
I
because of
have the complete and complete series on DVD if you ever want to
oh
borrow it.
well, fuck. I
No, your
mean,
cats are always doing something.
yeah, they're trying to do the fucking like Alex, you and I were talking about this the other day too with the Futurama shit.
Yeah,
Like, why are they doing this again? Like, why are they doing it? They don't need to bust out like another 20 episodes just cuz. Like it's like, it's like James said there. They ended it like in a good way.
they did end it in a good way.
Yeah, well, yeah, money, but
It's
it's
entirely money, and that's why the one Bender's voice
you know.
actor wanted more money.
Well, that's still sad though. I mean, like I don't like while it's going to be awesome to like have the show back again and stuff so that way I have new stuff to watch. It's like I don't know, it just kind of feels a little weird like they after being canceled like 3 or 4 fucking times, um they finally found a way to be actually in the show and it be fine, right? You remember?
Yeah, no, I remember the ending, and I was I was a little upset because of how it ended, but then I was like, yeah, no, that it was appropriate for how it ended because how else are you going to end it like that?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, there are shows that are out there that's going to be like, you know, like The Simpsons or like Family Guy and shit like that, where like Futurama was probably put on a pedestal just like those shows, and it's like, well, how are you going to end those ones, right? How are you going to end Family Guy? How are you going to end The Simpsons? They're just going to keep going on and on and on and on forever. But like Futurama always felt like it had like an overarching story in a lot of ways, and it had a lot of good episodes where they were really like impactful too, you know. But yeah, yeah, no, I mean it's there are far too many movies and they revive. Yeah, no, I for sure, for sure. And you
There
know,
were some episodes of Futurama I didn't agree with, but that was because of some references they made towards trans people, but otherwise the show wasn't awful.
see, yeah, I mean, like I hate to say that was probably
It was, I
more of
think, literally
mine.
like maybe one or two episodes that it would pop
Okay,
up in, so it wasn't like, the entirety of their show.
yeah, I'd be curious to see those scenes because I don't remember them, but I'd be curious to check them out.
I'll have to
But I
see if
mean,
I can find the article on it.
well, yeah, I mean, things aren't going to obviously age well when it comes to a show that's been out since like the late '90s
Oh
and
yeah.
has been on and off. I mean, look at Family Guy. You know,
Family Guy ages poorly every time I see it.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot going on with Family Guy. That's like there's some good old episodes and shit, but like, ugh.
Can't catch me, gay thoughts.
I mean, if it's fitting, it fits, right? But yeah, I mean, same thing with The Simpsons and shit too. You know, like there's a lot of like those shows where it's like, well, they've been on for like 20, 30 years. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of shit. Ages, probably ages after one day. Yeah, I mean that's not that's fair. That's fair. I can see that. There was a time where I really enjoyed Family Guy, like when like would watch him on repeat all the fucking time. But I think it got to the point where like I don't know, probably in the last like
Oh yeah, Family Guy had very transphobic shit in it.
yeah, that's true. That's very true. It, I think, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely something that is like yeah, it has not aged fucking well. That's for goddamn sure. But yeah, you really have to pick and choose and like really figure out like some episodes are good or some episodes that have some funny jokes here and there and shit like that. But yeah, no. But gotta love it though. Gotta love it. Ugh. But yeah, dude. Fucking and the other one, the other show that I was gonna mention too, when you were talking about Thundercats, that they got canceled just like kind of out of the blue, was fucking Teen Titans, man.
Oh yeah.
Fucking Teen Titans. They just like out of all of us, like out of fucking nowhere, they're just like, yeah, this one's done. And I'm like, you can't tell me that didn't have fucking good viewers, right? Like that, it didn't. There's no way it had poor viewership because oh my god, it was so fucking good. It got a movie,
Ari, I always sit straight. You know this because it's the only thing straight in my life.
bro, bro. I don't sit up straight.
Yeah, well, so Teen
What?
Titans Go isn't awful. It actually has some really good writing to it.
Well, I think that the thing that makes it like
It
good or like the good writing is that it's self aware.
just like me, self-aware of everything.
This is the curse of a writer.
It is. It is.
It's
Um,
it yeah, I agree though. It's not completely horrible, but it's kind of just a bastardization of what we could have had.
I did love one. I remember I didn't like it at first because it was the art style that threw me off because I really was fond of the art style of the other show. But as I
Mhm.
sat down and started watching it, I thought it was really ironic that Raven of all of them would be reading a knockoff of Game of Thrones.
Oh, she was?
There was an episode where she was reading a version of Game of Thrones, but I don't remember what it was. They had it wrote on there.
What?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Oh no, it is. The writing to it is very humorous. Um, I do like some of the episodes, I will admit that, but I would prefer to have the original show back.
Well, I think
I'm bitter too now. I'm
yeah,
bitter too.
she hit the nail on the head there. It's like it's just they even got the all the original voice actors all back for it and stuff, and like base of the designs off of the old Teen Titans and stuff, and it's like just finish the original show. Like you, if you're gonna have all this effort going to this show, then why
6
not just finish
seasons.
the other one? What's that?
It was 6 seasons long.
It was six. Wow, I didn't really feel like it was 6 seasons.
I think probably because they were like maybe 10 episodes, maybe?
Mm.
I
I mean,
don't
well, they were
remember. But I remember there
plus,
were 6 seasons of it out.
plus they were like 20, 25 minute, fucking episodes as well too.
Don't watch Titans on HBO. Live your ignorance. Don't be like me.
Bro, I'd seen it and I was like, all right, is this gonna be good or not? But then, like, as soon as I seen the trailer for it, I'm like, oh man, these guys just look like they're cosplaying.
I watched
Like,
one of my friends live tweet it, so I'm pretty okay with never having to watch it.
oh,
Thank
oh,
you!
that's sad,
Oh
actually.
shit, thank you so much, James. But yeah, there was another thing too that I was gonna say when you were talking about self-aware.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a long-running joke about me being self-aware
Okay.
about a lot of shit. Um,
Oh well, yeah. I know a little of this. Yes.
yeah, yeah. Well, so my new therapist that I'm seeing, um, she was asking me about like some things because obviously she's trying to help me work through some shit. But we were talking about some coping mechanisms because she tried getting me to do journaling, and she's like, "Yeah, you just go out and buy yourself a journal." And I'm like, "LOL, I'm a writer. I've got like 20 million journals I never write." And like that, it comes with being a writer. You just buy journals because, oh, pretty cover, but you never use them because that's sin. Um,
It's true.
and she's like, "Well, I want you to try journaling." And it's like, "All right, I'll try, but I'm gonna hit writer's block." How are you gonna hit writer's block journaling? Like very easily. Um, so she's like, "All right, well, say you're in an instance where something you don't like happens to you. How do you cope with that?" I'm like, "Ah, yes, well, I'm a writer, so anything you say can and will be used against you." And she's like, "Elaborate on that." I'm like, something happens to me where, say, a person is very shitty with me. Like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna use you as a character and I'm gonna have you die in the worst possible way ever." Like
Yeah.
that's therapy for me. Um, good night, Nell. We're gonna be
See,
ending here soon after my story, I think.
yeah, it's not a bad idea. I gotta get to bed here soon
You
myself.
do. But so I was like, well, so save for that set aside because she didn't bat an eye at me saying this. Um, but I was like, if there's something that happens that's out of my control, I will take that scenario and try to find a way to fictitiously weave it into whatever I am writing, if it fits. And she was like, that is actually called narrative journalism, Alex. And I was like, I'm sorry, what?" She's like, "Yeah, you're doing this coping mechanism called like narrative journalism. Were you aware of that?" And I was like, No, no, I was not." And I was like, "Oh, I'm going to tally that under the board of Alex is more self-aware than he knows." Um, so I'm like, well, I guess that's my journalism right there, is I'm just going to write stories and take all these stressful instances of probably work and try to weave them into a fictitious thing of me burning buildings down or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember when you told me that she had said that, and you're just like,
Yeah, I was
like
pretty
so
defeated at
defeated.
that. Because the first thing was, is I told her, I'm like, I am very self-aware, but I'm also oblivious. So like we talked about it too. Like
Mm.
people have all these coping mechanisms, but not all the time do they realize that it's a coping mechanism they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it is a fun and upsetting thing to realize. You're just like, oh yeah, like I already know what I need to do to be able to take care of myself, but at the same time, you're just sitting there like, I don't know what to do as you go.
At the same
You,
time, I'm panicking because my insurance doesn't cover therapy, and I'm like, oh, I need a therapist.
yeah, you really can't you can't really say it any better than that.
Yeah, like fucking literally having a panic attack, and it's like, but Alex, you've got all these coping mechanisms you already do. It's like, that doesn't matter.
I need just someone to tell me them instead.
I need to talk to someone who's gone to school and is in student loan debt.
Preferably an exorbitant amount of debt. That's the only way I'll feel better about myself.
Hell yeah, shut up and take my money and listen to me bitch for an hour on the phone.
Like, sure, whatever you say, man.
Sure.
Sure.
Is that your best Shangli voice?
You got your little Shangli in there. I don't still
Our,
gotta make that.
our favorite thing is when Nell asks us something, we'll fucking mock mimic Zhongli from Genshin. We'll be like, sure.
Sure.
There it is. Uh,
It's a very silly thing, but well, yeah,
but
no,
yeah.
I think it's about time probably to hit the old dusty trail, huh?
Yeah, we've been talking about like literally pure fucking shenanigans for like the last hour.
Well, and
Um,
that's the issue with us.
yeah, we just go on tangents and talk, and next thing you know, it'll be like 3 a.m. and it's like, whoops a daisy.
I'm like, wait a minute, Scooby fucking do, and you're like, yeah, dog. I'm like,
Literally, yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah. But yeah, no, anyways, we are going to wrap the stream up here before any more shenanigans ensues. Um,
Good.
so y'all have a great weekend. Happy Friday, and thank you for tuning in to some amazing gay fluff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to forward this to Nell so that she can upload it. I don't know how long it will take, but point in case is she will have it and will upload it onto the YouTube channel. So, thank you all for stopping in. I
Yeah.
love you all so much.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for freaking out when we were all supposed to.
Thanks for crying and thanks for being utterly pissed off at me.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love y'all.
You've earned it.
I earned my writing badge with that one. I really did. I felt like it was rushed too, but I mean,
Hmm.
it still turned out okay, I think.
No, I thought it was. I think it worked out perfectly fine.
We'll let the viewers comment on that when the video goes up. But
Exactly.
anyways, I know that Aries doesn't sleep. I'm not going to raid someone because the last time I tried raiding someone, my OBS glitched and it didn't end my stream like it was supposed to. Um, but I am going to end my stream and yeah. But with that, I love y'all. If you're a nocturnal owl, I hope that your evening goes well, but otherwise I hope everyone gets a great sleep. If you sleep.
Even with the betrayal at the end. You're killing me. But yeah, no. Again, thanks for everybody coming out and everything. It was a fun time. We'll have to do it again.
Yeah, we'll be back again because I've got more stuff in the works.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
That means
don't you worry about me. I've got plenty of can't believe shit in my back pocket.
that means more betrayals. Get rid of the other ones.
Maybe. Maybe. Anyways,
Yeah.
good night, all.
Night, guys.